Yeah, good evening, one and all. And I, Vimal Rar, welcome each one of you in this NEP orientation and sensitization program. Let me just share my screen and then we'll get started. Hope my team is also logged in. All of you are requested to please put on your videos. And let me tell this, I'll reiterate that this particular recorded videos will not be provided. So you have to attend this program in live mode only as per the UGC directions to us. So very nice to see all of you, and I can see Anuja also joining, and who else from the team?
Good evening, all.
Yeah, good evening, Prasanuja. And you can see. So let me just share my screen and begin. So once again, good evening and namaskar to each one of you. And I welcome you in this NEP orientation and sensitization program in the May 2024 A batch. That's how every month we conduct two of these programs. So we call them as A and B batch. So you are in the May A 2024 batch. And I welcome all of you on behalf of UGC-MMTTC, that is UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center. I hope I am audible, Anubhav.
Yes, you are
Lovely.
audible.
Right. Thank you. This is also called as GAD-MMTTC, which is especially at our college. And this
Yep.
center is the Center of University Grants Commission and Ministry of Education. Situated at my own premier institution, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, a constituent college of University of Delhi, I welcome you on behalf of my college, governing body, and all at Khalsa College, and as well as at from University of Delhi. And at our college, at this center, we are seeking blessings from Guru Angad Dev Ji, the second of the 10 Sikh Gurus. So, taking his blessings, we take these proceedings further. And this scheme has been named in the honor of Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Ji in the central level. So, you see, this entire program is Malviya Mission Teacher Training Program. So, I welcome each one of you with a virtual bouquet of flower. And all the participants who are administrators, teachers from higher education, universities, colleges, research scholars, and others from all over our lovely country, India. So welcome each one of you. And I would like to apprise all of you and also pay my gratitude to the entire core team at GAD-MMTTC. We have Padma Bhushan Sardar Talochan sir, who is chairman governing body at SCTB Khalsa College, Delhi University. We have Professor Ved Prakash sir, who is former chairman University Grants Commission. Professor A.K. Bakshi sir, founder VC PDM University Bahadurgarh and former vice chancellor UPRTU Allahabad. We also have Professor Jaswinder Singh, who is former principal from our college and now he has joined as vice chancellor at Eternal University Himachal Pradesh. And here we are at the executive level. Professor Surinder Kaur, who is acting principal at SGTB Khalsa College, and myself, I am the program director of this center. And in my esteemed organizing team, special colleagues from different institutions and from different states of our country, we have volunteers who are helping us to take this mission ahead. I'm so thankful to each one of them. I'll say if we take it as a responsibility in NEP, so almost equal half is Sarita Pasi. So Professor Sarita Pasi from Zakir Hussain Delhi College. We have many others, colleagues, Professor Anuji Chauhan from AIU. May I request those to mute? I think Shiali is, yes, please. Dr. Rajan Sareen is from my own college, from SCTB Khalsa College, DU. Dr. Vinita Kapoor from Sri
Your voice is
Venkateshwara
gone.
College. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, now audible.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Rajan Sareen from SCTB Khalsa College, Dr. Vinita Kapoor from Sri Venkateshwara College, DU, Dr. Minita Ojha from Agarwal PG College, Jaipur, Dr. Mahima Habil Messi from St. John's College, Agra. And yes, we give opportunity to all of you, those who want to help us in our further programs, they can write to us, and we will take you in the further batches, looking at some factors which will be, so be active, be interactive in our this particular program. So taking this further now, let me briefly, first of all, I'll request all of you to please join your hands to seek the blessings of the gods. GAD-TLC, that's how popularly our center was known, and it has been now renamed as UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, also as GAD-MMTTC, has state-of-art facilities in terms of preparing the teachers for the newer roles, whether it is embracing the technology or it is embracing the newer pedagogies or preparing them into their teaching, learning dissemination role, as well as the research role. So we keep on conducting programs on all the requirements of the teachers, which we take inputs from all of you and try to design the programs. We also have another center, which is Center for E-Learning, where as a team, we started the national level efforts in terms of e-content development under the very prestigious EPG Pathshala project of UGC. And we created our own studio, and with the help of our technical team, we have prepared the content, which is almost 89 courses for EPG Pathshala, each course of 4 credit having 35 to 40 modules. So you can see massive modules. So more than 5,000 4-quadrant modules we have prepared, and more than 50 MOOCs we have developed. Is it not clear, my audio? Anuja, can you help me?
It's clear. It's clear.
So Varsha, maybe it is some problem at your end.
Yes.
Yeah, please check. Yeah, thank you. So more than 50 MOOCs we have developed, for out of which 42 MOOCs have been for this EPG Pathshala content, and we have also helped in technical part of various other universities like Jawaharlal Nehru University, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, Jammu University, Mizoram University, to name a few. So anyone who seeks technical expertise in the content, then we do provide help as per the norms. My own concept, Teachers E-Kit, is again where more than 2,000 teachers across the country are developing content in the 4-quadrant format. And in one of the sessions, I'll be also taking you briefly on this particular part. And we keep on organizing detailed FDPs where teachers can understand this template and start contributing further. Since 2016, we have been conducting programs in the face-to-face mode, going to nook and corner of our country as well. But then since 1st April 2020, we went online because of the corona pandemic, where we also had no way, the teachers could not come to our center, and we decided that we'll take it in a way. But then the team who was actually preparing teachers in technology So we took that responsibility, and I'm happy to share that even our numbers went exponentially up. And from 2016 to 2020, we could touch more than 9,000 teachers. But you can see the statistics after that, we have touched more than 85,000 teachers. So in total, we have in various programs, we have more than 94,000 participants, and the number is adding with every program. All the details of the participants is then uploaded on the ministry portal. We also have a National Resource Center of Chemistry, where as a coordinator, I have the mandate of conducting these ARPIT programs. We conducted it 3 times, but now this is not continued because of all the programs happening online. And these were online FDPs, which were refresher courses, which were conducted on SWAM platform. But under this banner, we are making some efforts in the direction of chemistry, especially the teacher CKT, various workshop and conferences. And out of 42 subjects, our content as well as the number of enrollments were rated amongst the best. And because of the continued efforts, I can recall now more than a decade in higher education at the national level, and prior to that, my own personal e-learning expertise from more than 25 years. Now, this GAD-TLC was selected as one of the 45 centers which were selected out of total of around 100 PMMT centers, and they have been awarded Malviya Mission centers to conduct NEP trainings for 15 lakh higher education teacher. And prior to this is very important for all the teaching community to understand that all now training programs which will be useful for CAS and otherwise NAC and everything NIRF, because NAC and NIRF is also integrating these things. Earlier, there were academic staff colleges which were converted to HRDCs. They are the UGC centers which are there in many universities. There are 67 of them. And there were PMMN, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Nation Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme, which were centers directly from ministry like our GAD-TLC. And out of these 100, now around 45 are taken, and they have been clubbed together. And now all of them will be called as Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center. So any program you do from Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center will be fully recognized for the CAS and otherwise purpose. And this new phase of the scheme actually has been evolved to implement the recommendation of NEP. And what are those recommendations which now will be taken up in a very, very war-footing way? And you can see that we have been told that every center has to conduct these 2 programs. Apart from this, will be many other programs as well. So this has been done to improve the quality of teaching at all levels and in all domains, to focus on equity and inclusion in higher education and promote online and digital education, ensure equitable use of technology, promote Indian language and culture, develop basic infrastructure facility, create awareness about gender sensitization, include vocational education in the curriculum, develop leadership and management skills, and create pool of mentors and pedagogic experts, and also promote research and multidisciplinary education. So the vision of this scheme is to develop or build competencies in the faculty for better teaching, learning, and research by exposing them to Indian values, updating knowledge and skill, and aligning teaching, learning, and research with the needs of the society and NEP 2020. So you see this paragraph says it all, that teachers have to be prepared in all the front, whether it is teaching, learning, or research, and all has to cater to the needs of the society, including Indian values and value inculcation as per the NEP. So we will try to know more about the various themes which have been put up. So 116 MMTTs are now there. We started with 111 when the scheme was launched. And they will be conducting these main programs, that is NEP orientation, faculty induction program, which is now compulsory for every newly inducted teacher. On 13th May, I'll be starting the faculty induction program. We'll be releasing that batch. FDP, which is short-term program, we are starting one FDP tomorrow on parallel on LMS and blended learning and refresher program. So keep on watching so that you can benefit from the areas that you want to. Coming to this NEP training, which we are starting today, this has around 10 modules. So we started with 8 modules, and all these modules, whether it is holistic and multidisciplinary education, Indian knowledge system, academic leadership, governance and management, higher education and society, research and development, skill development, student diversity and inclusive education, information and communication technology, autonomy to the institution and choice to the student, curriculum development, pedagogy and assessment. And that's how we have planned that we will be having one or more sessions so that in 16 sessions we cover all these 10 modules. And this how there will be 2 quizzes where these 2 modules, sets of modules will be demarcated. I will share these important slides with you so that you can keep it as a reference. Regarding very important thing for completion of this very particular NEP, there will be 8 sessions, 8 days, 2 sessions each. So there will be 16 sessions total. And the timing is 5 to 8 p.m. It is clearly put up in our poster also. So do attend this in live mode. There will not be any recorded videos available. The quizzes will be conducted on 12th May. 12th May happens to be Sunday. So you can comfortably look at the time and there will be half an hour each for the 2 quizzes. So overall requirement for completion of this is that you will be just looking at the attendance and part. This is very compulsory. So it's not that you have given the quiz and if you have not attended, we will not be giving you the completion certificate. So please attend the sessions on Zoom, and there will be also a feedback form which will be given to you, and the feedback will have 3 takeaways. So when the next session is going to start soon, I think Professor Bakshi sir has joined. Yeah, good evening, sir, and welcome. So, in every session, please, you have to keep on writing. There will be 3 takeaways that we'll be asking you, and the grading will be done based on this. And do not write your names on the chat. We will be able to see your attendance. Do join with your registered email ID or your registered phone number. And if you join it with any other, please rename yourself so that the Zoom attendance will be taken automatically. It will be exported as admin, and we will be comparing it with the list of the participants. So no need to write on the chat. Chat is there to be used for meaningful interactions with the resource person. If you have any query or any question, so that is what we are looking into. Coming to, so the 2 quizzes will be there, and the quiz 1 will be, as I told you, based on this will be just let me correct. So this is the quiz 1 will be based on module 1 to 4 and the module 9, and the quiz 2 will be based on module 5 to 8 and module 10. This is how the format of the certificate that you will be awarded. So this has been given by UGC, and do not miss the feedback. So feedback is compulsory. The feedback will be available only in the Zoom session. It will not be given to you on the WhatsApp. Let me make it very clear. So only those who are attending, and random time we will be putting the feedback, and you have to be filling this feedback for every session. Okay, so every session wise feedback will be there. And certificate of participation will be given only when all the assessment parameters are successfully completed, and no certificate will be provided if all the assessment parameters are not completely met with. And there will not be any grade mentioned here. So let me be clear about this also. But the 50% completion marks will be required in the 2 quizzes and 1 attendance parameter that I told you. Now coming to the session, before I invite Professor Bakshi, I'll also like to make an important disclaimer from the UGC-MMTTC center point of view, as well as looking at the very sincere efforts of the resource person and the vast expertise they put in making their presentations or any information they share. So the copyright of the session, whatever they say, whatever the slides they show, is of respective speakers. It is not of UGC-MMTTC. And without a prior written consent of the respective speaker, you cannot use their slides or upload their videos or stream or put up their screenshots and just claim to have. Please avoid that in order to avoid the copyright and other things. Fine. Milind, I will come to you in later. I'll have the second session by me only. So I will take this question that you have posted. So now coming to session 1, which is on higher education and society, we have very experienced and renowned expert in the field of higher education as well as school education, I'll say. Founder, Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Bahadur Garh, former Vice Chancellor, UPRTU, Allahabad, former Executive Director of Tertiary Education Commission, Mauritius. We have Professor A.K. Bakshi, sir. Welcome, sir. And before I hand it over to him, I'll briefly introduce, although he doesn't need any introduction, Professor A.K. Bakshi, sir, a renowned academician and a former Sir Shankarlal Professor of Chemistry in the University of Delhi, has also been Head Department of Chemistry, Director of CPDHE, Director of Institute of Lifelong Learning of Delhi University, and he also has been a visiting professor at GGS-IP University in Delhi. He has also been the chairman of our center, GAD-TLC, and member of Standing Committee of the National Mission on Education through ICT. He was also the chairman of the Content Advisory Committee for Chemistry for Sakshat portal, where the first digital content initiative from Government of India was done right from school to the higher education. Content was put up in this portal. A double gold medalist, record breaker, and recipient of several awards and academic honors, Professor Bakshi was felicitated 2 times for his outstanding contributions to education by the former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Professor Bakshi is the co-author of nearly 200 research and education articles, 1 patent, and he has to his credit 11 books, 51 e-books, 63 e-modules, and many other from ARPIC programs and EPG Pathshala e-content development as well. Professor Bakshi is one of the most sought after speakers in the country, having delivered more than 400. I think this should be even higher because every day he's there in some or the other program. And especially in the last 4 years during the corona pandemic, he has been invited regularly every day at national and international platforms. He has also been a member of National Writing Team for Chemistry Class 11th and 12th books of NCERT. He was also the president of the Chemical Sciences section of Indian Science Congress Association. He has also been a member of various committees of national and international importance. And he was also recently felicitated by Union Minister Smriti Zubin Irani for his outstanding contribution as Chairman GAD in the professional development of teachers. He was also felicitated by 2 times by former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and he is one of the first persons from universities in India to have been selected as a member scientist of research expedition to Antarctica, and this expedition built India's permanent base, Dakshin Gangotri. I think this is something unique as compared to the other experts from the academic world. So congratulations, sir, for such a successful journey and more to come. And over to you, sir, for your session.
Thank you very much, Professor Vimal, for your very kind words of introduction. And good evening, one and all. It's indeed a great pleasure and a privilege to be a part of this very important NEP orientation and sensitization program being organized by UGC-MMTTC at SGTB Khalsa College. And I also take this opportunity to extend my warm greetings to all the participants who have joined from all over the country in this program. And I'm very sure that this program will be a great learning experience for all of you. See, if you look at this program, NEP orientation and sensitization program, there are two terms, orientation and sensitization. That means NEP is going to create a new environment in the country. So you have to be prepared for that. You need to be sensitized as to how the goals of NEP 2020 are to be achieved. That is why this exercise is being taken at the national level so that all the 15 lakh teachers in the country are trained through this program. So that is the spirit behind this program. So it's a pleasure to be with you and to deliver this inaugural address, which will give you an overview of what are going to be the challenges in higher education in the 21st century and how you need to prepare yourself. So before I start my talk, let me share my screen. And may I also request all the participants, as it is mandatory by UGC, you should keep your videos on. It's the request from UGC because we keep on taking screenshots in between. And then they can also question us why they are not keeping their videos on. Because your names are coming, but without videos. So this is a request to all of you, please. Thank you very much. So before I start my talk, let me share my screen. Bimal, is my screen visible and am I audible?
Yes, sir. Perfect. Fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you, please. So you can see this is the title of my talk. In the light of NEP 2020, empowering teachers for challenges in higher education in India in the 21st century. And as it is shown in the slide, challenges are to be taken as opportunities in disguise. So they provide opportunities to you for your growth. This is going to be a motivational talk based on NEP 2020 aimed at empowering you to enable you to succeed and thrive in the 21st century. And believe you me, this talk can prove to be a game changer for each one of you. This entire talk is based on my conceptualization and experience and will prepare you for not only your life, but also for success in your profession. The thinking behind the talk is, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So that's the spirit behind the talk. This talk will be in two parts. First, I will just give a very brief introduction to some points. Since we are talking about National Education Policy 2020, let's try to understand the spirit behind NEP 2020. And since it is an education policy, something you have to keep it in mind that education is relevant and of quality only when it is able to serve the needs of the changing society. Otherwise, education has no meaning. And in the 21st century, world is changing very, very fast, mainly because of technological advancements. And therefore, education needs to be changed to meet the demands of the 21st century world. And the national education policy proposes various reforms in education, school education, higher education, those reforms which are suited to 21st century needs. And if you look at NEP 2020, it is a visionary document which expresses the aspirations of the nation and aims at making India a global knowledge superpower. When I say knowledge superpower, it's not only in terms of knowledge dissemination, but also in terms of knowledge creation. And knowledge creation means research. So one has to become a global knowledge superpower. And second, global study destination. That means our higher educational institutions should be so good that students from all over the world look forward to coming to India and study here. That should be the level of our institutions. So these two are the major aims of NEP 2020. And NEP 2020 proposes to achieve its goals by making school and college education more holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary. These three are very important points in NEP 2020. Education should be made holistic, overall development, then flexible. It offers you a lot of flexibility now, and multidisciplinary. And there are 5 pillars on which NEP 2020 is based. These are access, quality, equity, affordability, and accountability. All these are very important things in NEP 2020. Focus is going to be on expanding the access. Then quality needs to be enhanced. Then education needs to be imparted with equity. Then education should also be affordable. And then accountability in education. So that way, this slide is very, very important. And when I talk about, holistic, it means overall development. Physical, emotional, mental, and social. It should not be lopsided. And when I say education being imparted with equity, this is the meaning of equity. You can see on the right side, it is equity, social justice. You have to be fair, not equality as is shown on the left side. So that's basically the spirit behind NEP 2020. Now the question is, why I am focusing on empowering teachers? Because please remember, the quality of an education system can never exceed the quality of its teachers. If you want to raise the quality of an education system, you must raise the competence level of the teachers. So this talk will help you how you can raise your competence. And once teachers are empowered, then empowered teachers in turn will empower their students. That is the thinking. So we are basically working on these lines in this policy. Please remember, our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children. And India has one of the youngest nations of the world. 50% population less than 25 years. 65% population less than 35 years. So it's a big demographic dividend. a big advantage which India enjoys. And we need to ready these children for future. And to a great extent, responsibility rests with you, the teachers. And please remember, students may be just 25% of our population, but then they are 100% of our future. Our future depends on them. We cannot afford to take this lightly. Because, a child miseducated is a child lost. Therefore, we cannot afford to lose even a single child. We have to give them the right education. No talent of the country should go waste. And that is possible only if we are able to reap this demographic dividend which India has. So this was just a brief introduction. Now I come to the traditional roles of a teacher in higher education as a continuing part of introduction. See, these are the major roles of a teacher in higher education: to disseminate knowledge, that is teaching, then create knowledge, research and guiding research, and then academic administration and management. Then a teacher is expected to excel in all these three roles. Now, what I think, this is my personal feeling and based on my own experience. If you want to be an outstanding teacher or a researcher, you should have a very sound and deep knowledge in your subject. Very good knowledge. You should be very good in practical skills. You should have clarity of concepts. And when you teach, your teaching should reflect the amount of thinking you have done on the subject. All this is not very easy to say. Many of us lack in these things. That's why sometimes we are not very good as a teacher or as a researcher. And then you should have the passion to become an outstanding teacher or a researcher. An inner motivation should be there in you. And if you want to be an outstanding researcher, besides what I have already said, you need to be an out-of-box thinker, coming out with new ideas. And you will come out with new ideas only when you have a vast knowledge. Because out-of-box thinking means you are connecting the previously unconnected dots. You should have an analytical mind. You should be able to, break a problem into various parts. You should be innovative and creative. And then 4 C's, which are must for a researcher: curiosity, creativity, courage, and commitment. All these are very important. And believe you me, all this cannot come overnight. This needs to be nurtured from school days onwards. And then for both outstanding teacher and a researcher, you should also have excellent communication and presentation skills. How you communicate, how you present your ideas. Because the way you will speak, that will reflect the way you think. So how logically and systematically you speak, that will be reflected how well you are thinking. Because nobody will take the pains to listen to your ideas if your communication is not effective and impressive. You have to be very effective and impressive. And please remember, no one is a born speaker, nothing like that. You have to make efforts. You should start making efforts now. And this is a very important stimulant. All the great speakers were bad speakers at first, but then they worked hard. So this is the point, you have to keep it in mind. Having said that, now I come to part B, where I will tell you what are going to be the challenges before the teachers in the 21st century, especially those in higher education. See, we are living in an information age. So the challenges are coming from the information age. This is an age of uncertainty with respect to jobs. When I say age of uncertainty, it means there is a future of jobs report published by World Economic Forum in 2019. The conclusion from this report is that we are not sure where our children will be employed tomorrow once they finish their education. Those jobs may not be existing even now. So there is a lot of uncertainty with respect to jobs. This is something you have to keep it in mind, because traditional jobs are slowly getting displaced. Then this is also an age of mass education. This is an age where more and more students over the next 30 years will graduate than since the beginning of the recorded history. So what does it mean? There will be so many graduates and postgraduates coming. Traditional jobs will become less, takers would become many. So there is going to be a tough competition. This is another problem, challenge. And then this is also an age of artificial intelligence. This is an age where artificial intelligence will equal the intelligence of the students by the time they finish their formal education. What does it mean? It means that if I can have machines with the same intelligence as you, then why do I need you? I will go for machines. So that's the problem. And as it is now said, many jobs which are of repetitive or predictable nature, which require no critical thinking, no critical analysis, no research base, no specialization, all these jobs are going to be in danger, either because of artificial intelligence, automation, or robotics. Look at the picture. Along with humans, some robots are also working. That is the picture of the future. And here, there could be a threat to the teaching profession also, if it is just repetitive type. And now it is said, this is the picture of the brain. Humans may not be required for the so-called left brain functions. Look at the left side. Analytical, numbers, language, logic, all these humans may not be required, because anything which can be measured by numbers can be solved by artificial intelligence models. So the focus in future is going to be more on right brain function, creativity, imagination, emotional intelligence, expression, critical thinking, all that. That you cannot have with machines. So you can see how AI is taking over the world. Just imagine. And this was a report just came this month in April. Elon Musk said that AI systems will become smarter than the smartest human, probably by next year or by 2026. So you can see where we are heading to. But AI has many plus points also. I just read it this year, it was this month only, it was positive side of AI, how artificial intelligence foiled monkey attack. No, this was a report in Times of India of 6th April. So this is Alexa, you know that. The instruction came, bark like a dog. And then it started barking like a dog. And then monkey ran away. So AI system is foiling monkey attack. So there are many other positive aspects also. So in the light of what I have told you, the challenge in future is going to be for teachers, what to teach, how to teach, so that the children are successful in a future that is so uncertain. That is very, very important. The second challenge, which I think which is very important, That is the Sustainable Development Goals. Now the question could be how this is a challenge. Let's look at it. See, sustainable development is the other burning issue in the world at present. And you all know, meaning of sustainable development is sustainable means one which can be maintained for a long period of time. Development means economic development, progress, growth. So here the concern is more about the future generations. And why there is a concern for sustainable development? Because, look at these points. Population is exploding. Today's population of the world is 8 billion. By 2050, it will be 9.7 billion. So much population, though you can imagine so much pressure on resources. Then fast depletion of resources. Food, minerals, other natural resources will be getting depleted. Water scarcity is going to be an acute issue. Some people even say that the Third World War, if it takes place, it may be because of the water problem. FAO report says by 2025, 1.8 billion people will face acute water scarcity. Then problem of environmental degradation, we know all that. Then climate change, rising sea level, increase in atmospheric temperature. All these are the issues of concern. And who will address to these issues? Education only. That is why, United Nations in 2015 gave 17 Sustainable Development Goals for achieving them by 2030. These are the 17 goals. Look at the right side. And this agreement was signed by 193 countries, including India. But United Nations did not give any roadmap because there is no possible roadmap. Because world is full of diversity and the nature of the problem varies from region to region. You can't give a foolproof solution which is applicable all over the world. No. So these 17 Sustainable Development Goals are actually the real world problems. And they need knowledge of several different disciplines for their solution. For example, look at climate change. It is a real world problem. If you want to solve the problem of climate change, you need knowledge of climatology, you need knowledge of political science, economics, green technology, sociology, etc. That is why, the multidisciplinary aspect in education is gaining popularity. No real world problem can be solved without a multidisciplinary approach. And multidisciplinary education allows students to gain a deeper understanding of the subject through the lens of different disciplines. And in 2015, when India signed this agreement, Prime Minister Modi at that time said, much of India's development agenda is mirrored in the Sustainable Development Goals. Our all policies are aligned with this. Even the G20 meeting, which we recently had, its work was basically aligned with the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. So you can see these are the real issues. And even, one of the goals amongst the 17 goals is quality education, SDG 4. Goal 4 is quality education. What does it say? Ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So in this Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is quality education, we talk about inclusive, equitable, quality education and lifelong learning. And that is what is also in our NEP 2020. So please remember that the various provisions of NEP 2020 are also basically based on SDG 4. So alignment, all our policies are aligned with this Sustainable Development Goals. So this is a big challenge. This should be made a part of our education system. And the third challenge is 21st century learning needs, how to learn. See, it is said that in the 21st century, if you want to excel, you need at least two things. One is rigorous academic content. You should be very good in the subject. And then 21st century skills. These two taken together lead to deeper learning, which is an umbrella term for skills and knowledge, which is a must for everybody. See, 21st century skills are a set of abilities which each one of us must have if we want to succeed in the 21st century. Not only your students, you should also have it. And these 21st century skills are these. They come under three categories: learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Look at them. Under learning skills, we have critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, 4 C's. Under literacy skills, we have information literacy, media literacy, technology literacy, IMT. And under life skills, we have flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. So you can see, taken together, these are 12 skills. These are going to help you in elevating your job performance in any profession you may be. And why they have become so important? Because artificial intelligence cannot replicate them. You cannot have machine which is critically thinking, which is creative, which has leadership quality, etc. Therefore, because of these skills, even the job world of work is also changing. People are now laying more stress on this rather than on degrees. So, quality education need to focus on this. That is what I just said. Knowledge, skills, and third thing is personality. See, for any profession, you need these three things: knowledge, disciplinary, interdisciplinary, and practical. Number 2 is 21st century skills, which I just mentioned. And then domain-specific skills. You are in physics, some related skills of physics, or chemistry, or economics, or statistics, something like that. And the third thing, which is very important, is your personality, your values, your attitude, your traits, your disposition. Please remember, formal quality education need to focus on these three things in the 21st century. And these three things taken together will determine your competence for any profession. See, if you are in IAS, suppose, you again need knowledge of a different type, but you need knowledge. You need skills. You need personality. You are an engineer, knowledge of a different type, skills, this. Any profession you may take. That is why universities are now doing skill enhancement courses to strengthen second point and value-added courses to do the third point. Because even if one of these is weak, your competence will be adversely affected. Institutions are focusing on adequate infrastructure, are conducing learning environment, etc. So the goal of quality education has to be on acquiring competence. And this is the best summary of this: knowledge, skills, personality. And these days, sometimes we talk about outcome-based education. What can be the outcome? Because, in education, we learn only these three things. So outcomes have to be the mixture of these: knowledge and skills or values, something like that. So please remember, always keep this slide in mind. You may be very knowledgeable. You may be very good in skills. But if your personality is not conducive, everything goes bad. The next challenge, which I think is very important, is the need of creative and innovative minds in India. This is the fourth challenge. 3 I have told you: information age, sustainable development goals, 21st century learning needs. Now we are coming to this. See, there is a crisis of innovation and creativity in Indian education system. Look at this. No Indian scientist working in India has been able to get Nobel Prize after 1930. C.V. Raman got it in physics in 1930. After that, no one has got it. No Nobel Prize ever in chemistry while working in India. These people did get, but they were non-resident Indians. Then Amritya Sen, although he's an Indian, but for years he has been staying abroad. Abhijit Banerjee is an American citizen. So you can see there is something fundamentally wrong. And please remember, Nobel Prize is not a lifetime achievement award. No. It's for a breakthrough, which changes the course of humanity. And for excellence in research at that level, you need many things, but these three things are very important. Enormous amount of creativity and open-mindedness. This is very important for research. Then willingness to collaborate. See, we teach our students to become each other's competitors. Then it becomes difficult for them to collaborate. Then perseverance and resilience. We sometimes want immediate gain. That may not be possible. You have to have patience. You may have failures. You have to bounce back. That's what resilience means. And these qualities don't come overnight. You are not to know the meanings of them. You have to become that. And that is the reason why our ranking is not very good. This is one of the reasons. One of the main reasons for poor world ranking of our higher educational institutions is poor quality of our research program. Sometimes, best students don't come to research. This is the report which was presented in Rajya Sabha. Best of the science students go to civil services. Look at this. Between 2017 to 2021, over 76% students from the science stream qualified for civil services. So, research is somewhat not a big attraction. Why do we lack in quality research? Have you ever thought, you are also a teacher, I am also a teacher. We are the students in our respective discipline. See, I have personally worked with a world-class Nobel laureate people. I have seen how they work. And what I notice is, it is all linked with our education system. So something is wrong in our education system. And maybe this slide throws some light on that. Just watch this.
For decades, people have been finding hundreds of flaws in the education system. No conceptual understanding, no creativity, children are stressed, and the list goes on. All these are symptoms. But what is the root cause to all this? What is the fundamental flaw in the education system? Let us play a rapid-fire game. You have 1 second to answer every question. Let's start. First question. A4? Okay, no more questions. Did you think apple first? 98% of people are most likely to think so. Because that was what we were told in our kindergarten. Imagine that this was done differently. Say we had asked you for all the words starting with A. Ant, ace, April, apt. Different answers would have popped out of everyone's head. Do you see where the problem is? Before children start going to school, every child is unique. Every child thinks different. But the education system makes every child think the same. This is the fundamental flaw in the education system. Why did this start? During the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, the education system was designed to make children ready to work in factories. The factories did not require people to think, but to only work like robots. So, the education system stripped children of their freedom to think and destroyed their true potential. The same education system continues even today. Only the industries have changed. A study by NASA shows that 98% of children think different before they start going to school. As they go through this education system, at 25 years of age, only 2% think different, and 98% think the same. So how does the education system make every child the same? Let's go back to the apple example. Kindergarten lessons told us that A is for apple. We asked you for words that start with A. Our education system gave us the answers. We asked you a question. Answers make you the same. Questions make you different. Right from kindergarten, the education system keeps giving answers. Instead of asking children how plants make food, the science teacher gives you the definition of photosynthesis. Instead of asking them to describe the sun, the teacher tells them that the sun is a ball of fire at the center of the solar system. Through their years in school, children lose the capability to think on their own. Whether it is their choice of career or their relationship or any situation in life, they become.
So you can see how our education system keeps on giving answers to the various questions. And then our students reproduce those answers in the examination. That's not education. Education is not the learning of the facts. It is the training of the mind to think. That is unfortunately missing. Our education system that way is outdated and does not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity among students. And please remember, without creativity, there can be no progress, and we would be forever repeating the same pattern. Just think, whatsoever we learn, that is the result of creativity of some people that we are learning today. Because they created new knowledge. But if there is no creativity, just we will be repeating the same thing. So this is a serious problem. Fifth challenge, which I think is, we need to enhance quality of higher education imparted in India. But the question is, how you do that? See, in education, three things are important. Look at this. This is very important. One is, what do we teach? That is curriculum. Then, how do we teach? Pedagogy. And then, how do we assess our students? Examination or assessment. But if you look at our education system, we have 21st century students. The content which we teach sometimes is of 19th century, methods of teaching, assessment methods, courses, architecture, all old 20th century. It seems we have not changed much with the changing times. We need to address to the needs of the society. Now, let's look at curriculum, for example, in details. Curriculum means the total learning experience. And the biggest challenge to curriculum comes from growth of knowledge. The knowledge in all disciplines is growing very, very fast. So fast that the doubling time of the growth of knowledge has shrunk considerably. Shelf life of knowledge is becoming shorter day by day. See, there was a time when human knowledge was doubling in 150 years. Now this is doubling in almost 73 days. Just imagine. What we know in any discipline is merely a drop, and what we do not know is an ocean. Please remember that thing. That is why NEP 2020 says we need to revise syllabi, make it modern, keep it light because students should be given more time for thinking. Because outdated syllabi will increase the gap between what is learned and what should be learned. And this would affect the quality of research. See, one of the main reasons if we are not able to become leaders in many fields is this outdated syllabi. We have not learned where the world is and we are studying old things. Then there is also a lack of coordination between school and higher education. See, he is Bharat Ratna awardee, Professor C.N.R. Rao. He once said that 90% of the universities in India have outdated curriculum. Just look at this. See, the need is to have skill-based and industry-led curriculum. World is shifting towards skill-based economy. Skill-based economy means more focus is going to be on practical knowledge and on hands-on experience. And even in our universities and colleges, although we have introduced skill courses, but sometimes we teach skills the same way as we teach knowledge. Skill is always practical, knowledge is always theoretical. So we need to change the methods. And so much is the importance of skills that it's very rightly said that future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. Now look at pedagogy, the second component. Pedagogy is how do we teach? The art and science of teaching is called pedagogy. We still teach by talk and chalk method, which is an old. It has quite a few limitations, teacher-centric, mainly a monologue method. Many complex concepts cannot be explained on the board. It presumes that all students learn in identical fashion. That is wrong. Some may be slow learners, some may be fast learners, some may be just average. You can't solve many problems in the class due to the paucity of time. Then the whole process is slow and time consuming. And then this method focuses more on examination, rote learning, and scoring high marks. This is today's reality in every discipline. Nobody wants to learn concepts, just 90 plus. See, the irony of our country is that the focus is more on well-filled mind rather than what we need is well-formed mind. The mind which is created out of thinking, innovation, and creativity. Because the real education should transform the learners. Just as you have a seed, from seed you go to plant, from plant you go to tree, like that. A transformation should come in you. And the basic wrong is, see, learning is never the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of the learners. We need to engage learners in various activities. And once you are engaged, you do it by hand, what is also called experiential part, then you will never forget. So that is why in the modern time, there is a focus on learner-centric education. The thinking is students learn best when they are engrossed in the topic, motivated to seek out new knowledge and skills because they need them in order to solve the problems at hand. And we are living in an information age. You can get any information just by a click of a mouse. Experiential learning is becoming very popular. That's also a learner-centric education. That is why fostering experiential learning and critical thinking among students is an important objective of NEP 2020. But you know, all this should be done from school level on. If you do it at higher education where students are already 17, 18 years old, that's too late. You cannot change them much. Please remember, any habit, if you want to change, it should be changed at young age. The older you become, the more difficult it becomes to change the habits. And learner-centric education, many methods are there. Problem-based learning, project-based learning, case studies, inquiry-based learning, flipped classroom. We will have separate talks on this later on. Collaborative learning, community outreach, travel, internship, research program. All these are learner-centric education. So this is the need of the hour. And you know, this is, once you embrace learner-centric education, then the roles of the learners will also change from passive learner to an active, highly independent and creative thinker. This you have to understand. Look at these universities, Harvard, Stanford, Wharton. Here, more focus is on case studies, experiential learning, project-based, problem-based, collaborative learning, very little focus on lecture-based learning. We still focus more on lecture-based learning. We haven't changed much with the changing times. See, this is a very beautiful quote. If we teach today's student as we taught yesterday's, we are going to rob them of tomorrow. Teachers will have to change with the changing times. Now, slowly teachers are changing. Without their change, nothing, system cannot change. This was my article in Education Times, the creativity crisis in the Indian education system. This was my another article about flipped classroom. Anyway, third is assessment. And assessment is very important. And NEP 2020 says we need to transform the culture of assessment because, assessment drives learning. The way you assess your students will start learning in that way. So it can be a good way to enhance the quality of education in the country. But if you look at our examination system, it is still rote-based, mainly about textbook content, testing facts, definitions, procedures which are given there. Anything which comes from outside the textbook is branded out of syllabus or even protested. So then our examination system does not assess the skills which industry needs. So, assessment process needs to be made more scientific to encourage multiple skills of the student. Which skills? Analytical skills, critical thinking, conceptual clarity, etc. And believe you me, teachers can play a very important role in assessment and evaluation. See, there are about more than 4 crore students in higher education. They appear in various examinations. How you assess them can change the quality of education. Your competence, your creativity, your skills matter a lot. For example, in terms of knowledge, we have cognitive learning. And according to revised Bloom's taxonomy, cognitive learning is a 6-level hierarchy. This cognitive learning starts from bottom, remembering, then understanding, then application, goes up to creativity, 6 learning outcomes. So cognitive learning takes you from lower order to higher order thinking skills. So once these are the 6 learning outcomes, assessment should test all the 6. We normally test only the lower one, remembering, understanding, and application. That's the problem. So the best way, this is a good slide. For lower order thinking skills, you can have MCQ, short question answer, match, fill in the blanks, numerical, etc. But for higher order thinking skill, you need to have projects, internship, e-portfolios, field work, etc. So all this is a big challenge for you. See, whatsoever I am telling you, these are the main challenges in higher education. They encompass entire higher education sector. Other is, we need to embrace technology and become tech savvy. This is another challenge in the 21st century. Because, it is difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. Even NEP 2020 says the relationship between technology and education is bidirectional. Technology enhances the quality of education, enhanced quality of education further improves the technology, so they just feed on each other. But technology should be used strategically to benefit the student. It's very unfortunate that our students are using technology excessively, so much so that it has adversely impacted the generation of original ideas and hence their creativity. A serious drawback. Our students have forgotten to write with hand. That is so much dependence on technology. And look at, see how technology has changed our higher education. Teaching learning has changed. E-learning MOOCs have come. Experimental work is done through virtual labs. Revision of syllabi you can do very quickly through email, discussion forum, video conferencing. In research, so many ICT tools have come. In assessment, online examination, National Testing Agency has been created. Professional development of the teachers is online. ICT empowered pedagogies have come. Just look how the things have changed. And most of this happened after Corona, during Corona rather, I would say. And it is said what could have been normally done in 10 years, it was done just in 1 year. And now even artificial intelligence is coming. It is redefining the education in the world, because it is revolutionizing the way we teach, learn, and research. So you will have to become tech savvy. There is no doubt about that. Otherwise, you will be left behind in the race, because technology is only an enabler. It helps you achieve doing many things much faster. It saves your time. It increases your efficiency. So this is a challenge to become tech savvy. Many of the old teachers, they show resistance to becoming tech savvy. That will not work. Please remember, technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. Be a great teacher and then tech savvy. That combination can do wonders. This was my report in Times of India, that technology won't replace teachers. And next, another challenge is the new roles of teachers in higher education. In the light of whatsoever I have told you so far, 6 challenges I have told. The 7th is you have to embrace new roles. Roles of the teachers are going to change. Just look at this. You will have to become tech savvy in ICT skills. You should have 21st century skills. If students are enrolled in e-learning and MOOCs, if they have some queries, you have to answer them. You must learn how to manage virtual classroom, discussion forum. You need to engage students by learner-centric pedagogies. So you will become more like a coach or a mentor rather than a knowledge provider. There was a time when teacher used to be the only source of knowledge. Not now. Now there are multiple sources of knowledge which are available. Then you should be proficient in the development of e-content and MOOCs. Nearly 4,000 MOOCs have been developed and hosted on SWAYAM platform. Who has developed them? Teachers only. You should be a great teacher. You should have excellent writing skill. You can develop MOOC. So this is all new roles. So ladies and gentlemen, a change of mindset is required now. Don't think what I know is enough. No, that will not work. I must learn more. And this is a beautiful quote. Birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. You have to change your mindset. And the key to meeting all the challenges which I have told you in higher education lies in the regular empowerment. That's why this talk was delivered, so that you can understand what are the challenges. Most of the other talks will be just the expansion of these, but these are the broad challenges. And now I come to the last part, which is also a challenge, where I want to share with you some personality development tips for enhancing your competence. See, I showed you this slide earlier. I've talked about knowledge, skill, but personality is something which is often neglected. Personality, I mean, a set of traits and behaviors that characterize an individual. Personality doesn't mean your looks. Please remember that. And why personality is important? Because 87% of all people fail, not because of capability, but because of personality. And the worst part is, those people do not know that their personality is coming in the way of their job performance. This is the worst part. Because, personality development is often neglected in India. But the most beautiful thing about personality is that if you make efforts, you can change your personality. That's the strength of personality. And why personality is important? Because personality influences almost every aspect of human life. Hardly any aspect is, untouched by your personality. So I am sharing with you some personality development tips based on my long experience in education, national, international, working at top institutions of the world, working with top people of the world. What I have learned, I am sharing with you. See, when I was a young lecturer in Delhi University, when I was just 21, nobody told us these things. I think had somebody told us, our life would have been still much better. Therefore, I am sharing with you. And please remember, life can only be understood backwards, but then it has to be lived forwards. But I'm sharing my experiences. See, this is a beautiful quote, a grandma telling the granddaughter, life is only a short trip, enjoy it. Life looks like an eternity, but actually it is just a short trip. You don't know when it will be over. The most important thing is you should learn the art of living. See, most of the people, I think they only exist. Living has become almost rare. This is my feeling. Please remember, you only live once. But if you do it right, one is more than enough. And when I say art of living, it means the capability to draw pleasure from life and to succeed in the greatest test called life. Life itself is a great test. You have to be successful in this. And please remember, you will never find a happy life. Nobody. You will have to make it happy. There is no perfect life. You can fill it with perfect moments. Please remember, these are not the quotes. This is, they include a lot of experience in these sentences. This was a recent report in Indian Express in the World Happiness Index. India is ranked 126 out of 143 nations. People are not happy, stressed, thinking, always worried, all that pressure. Because the art of living is missing. They are more worried about future and then they are spoiling the present also. And please remember, the art of living lies in a fine mingling of letting go and holding. It's a mixture of the two. दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का खिलौना है, मिल जाए तो मिट्टी है, खो जाए तो सोना. That is the mindset. That is what each person is like that. But this is also a good quote. Life is never fair. Please remember it. जिंदगी बहुत कुछ देकर भी किसी ना किसी चीज के लिए फकीर बनाए रखती है. This is the irony of life. आप कभी अपनी जिंदगी सारे सोचना, ये चीजें बिल्कुल रियलिटीज हैं. एक चीज मिल जाए फिर आदमी दूसरे की, वो मिल जाए अब वो हो जाए, वो फकीर तो आप बने ही रहोगे. So इस सारी लाइफ में first thing you have to keep it in mind is you have to be proactive in life. If you are proactive, you focus on preparing. If you are reactive, you end up focusing on repairing. So be proactive in life. Proactive people don't wait for the ship to come in, they swim out. So be proactive in life. This is a lesson, you have to keep it in mind. Next is work hard sensibly. Many people are very hard working, but sensible part is missing. Because in respect of working hard, direction is more important than speed. Choose your direction very carefully. Of course, you are free to choose any direction, but then you are not free from the consequences of your choice. Choose your direction very, very carefully. You are spending your life's time on that. Please remember, life is a process. No one rises suddenly in this world, not even the sun. You have to choose right direction, work hard sensibly, work smartly, then be persistent and have never give up attitude. Then self-belief is very important in life. Believe in yourself. Look at the quote. A bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not in the branch but in her own wings. That sort of confidence you should have. Because once you believe in yourself, then you have no need to convince others. No, yes. And then never become arrogant in life. This is my advice. Sometimes a small success goes into a person's head. He or she becomes arrogant. No, don't do that, please. Arrogance is the surest path to failure. See, there is a difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence comes from self-belief. Arrogance comes from ego. Ego can destroy any relationship. And look at this beautiful quote. कभी किसी चीज का घमंड आ जाए तो शमशान का एक चक्कर लगा आना, तुमसे बेहतरीन लोग वहां राख बने पड़े. Please remember you are dust and to dust you shall go. Keep this reality of life always in mind, then you will never become arrogant. समय और भाग्य पर कभी भी अहंकार मत करो क्योंकि ये दोनों ही परिवर्तनशील है. पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि टाइम बदल गया. कभी किसी ने सोचा भी नहीं होता, कई बार ऐसा हो जाता. Then self-discipline is very important. See, by self-discipline means mastery over your thoughts. If you can control what you think, you can always control what you do. So you should practice to become self-disciplined because there is nothing in this world that can trouble you more than your own thoughts. And we are always thinking and thinking and thinking. And on an average, a person thinks 70,000 thoughts a day. Cages are not made of iron, they are made of thoughts. So if you can learn self-control, you can master anything. Please start practicing self-control. This can change your life. And it will also make you mentally tough. Mental toughness is something which you require sometimes in the face of adversity. And then always strive for excellence. A penguin can never be a giraffe, so try to be the best penguin you can be. In any line you go, ultimately try to excel in that. That's all. Excellence should be the key word. And then be positive and honest. Always positive thinking. Look at this, getting 11 marks out of 10. So, positive thinkers will have a solution for every problem. Negative thinkers will have a problem for every solution. And we meet both types of people in our day-to-day life. And you know, many a times I have noticed that many of our young colleagues are not able to make an impact in their life because they start living in a comfort zone. You will have to come out of your comfort zone. Oh, I am getting good salary, my husband or my wife getting good salary, children are well settled. Why should I work? It's very common. Then that's a comfort zone. Life begins at the end of your comfort. It's only after you have stepped out of your comfort zone that you begin to change, grow, and transform. Then overcome fear of failure. This is very common. People fear failure. Don't worry about that. Please, जब तक तुम डरते रहोगे, तुम्हारी जिंदगी के फैसले कोई और लेता रहे. ये याद रखिए, ये बातें बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहा हूं. Overcome fear of failure. Because failures can be the pillars of success, depending on how you take them. Fail is first attempt in learning. And your attitude towards failure determines your altitude after failure. And attitude is what? Again, mindset. And mindset is one, self-control. So mindset is everything. Stop worrying and start living. This is another. See, worry is what? Worry is a misuse of your imagination. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. And I think I was reading somewhere, this is the most common problem in youngsters. Always worried. They spoil their present, hoping for a better future. They are spoiling their present. And one day you will look back and realize that you worried too much about things that don't really matter. But by that time would have gone. You cannot undo that. The best thing is you worry only about the things which are in your control. And what is in your control? Your attitude, your effort, your focus. Don't worry about the things which are outside your control, what others will think, what is the opinion of others, what will be the actions of others. Don't worry. Keep a rigid boundary between the two. Do your best and then forget. And take risks also in life. This is my advice to you. Be courageous. Sometimes you need to lose small battles in order to win the war. Be prepared to lose if you want to win war. That's okay. And this is one more thing which I have added. Create a sense of urgency in your life. See, if you give yourself 30 days to clean your home, it will take you 30 days. But if you give yourself 3 hours, it will take you 3 hours. Work sometimes expands according to the time available. The same thing applies to your goals, ambitions, and potential. You can create a new life for yourself by creating an urgency in your current life. Every night before you sleep, you make a plan for the next day and stick to that. Do it urgently, come what may. This will change your life slowly. Then control anger. Anger is a normal emotion, but please remember the fire of anger burns you first. So think before you get angry, because you're doing harm to yourself. Never say mean words out of anger. This is very common problem these days in personal and professional lives. Your anger will pass, but your mean words can scare a person for life. Use either kind words or be silent. And please remember, psychology says beneath anger, there is always some fear. Believe it or not, this is true. और एक ये बड़ी अच्छी टिप है आपके लिए, किसी पर ज्यादा नाराज होने से बेहतर है कि अपने जीवन में उसकी अहमियत को ही कम करो. बहुत फर्क पड़ जाएगा. डिफिकल्ट होगा, लेकिन धीरे धीरे सब ठीक हो जाएगा. And then time management is very important. Time management is life management that everybody knows. Everybody gets 24 hours a day. If you are 40-year-old today, every person who is 40-year-old has got the same number of hours. How you manage those time, that's the secret of your success. Look at this Amitabh Bachchan's quote, कल खो दिया आज के लिए, आज खो दिया कल के लिए, कभी जी ना सके हम आज, आज के लिए बीत रही है जिंदगी कल, आज और कल के लिए. That's how the life passes. The message is invest your time, don't spend it. Every day is once in a lifetime. बंधी हैं हाथ पर सबके घड़ियां, मगर पकड़ में किसी के एक लम्हा भी नहीं. Time spares no one. Look at this. This is small Bollywood song, but it conveys a meaning. Please look for meaning in this.
समय की धारा में, समय की धारा में मरी रह जानी थी जो घड़ी थी नैन, जो घड़ी थी नैन वही रह जानी थी.
Just look at this. These were the people with mass following. So many fans. Look at, see how time changed them. वक्त से डर के रहना चाहिए. And therefore, the best thing is live in the moment. The present moment is the only moment available to us, and it is the door to all moments. Life becomes more meaningful when you realize the simple fact that you will never get the same moment. So make the best use of it. And please remember, you meet many people in life. Inside every person you know, there is always one person whom you don't know. Keep this thing always in mind. Never say that I know this person 100%. Never. It will never happen. And then think high of yourself. Have a high opinion of yourself. Thinking low of yourself is not modesty, it is self-destruction. So hold your uniqueness in high regard. It is a necessary precondition for happiness and success. Think high of yourself. You may not be perfect in many things, but many things cannot be perfect without you. Stay special in your own little ways. You are unique. Please remember that. Don't compare yourself with others. No, you are unique. God has made you other person. So everybody is different roles. So ladies and gentlemen, coming to the end, at the end of the day, your biggest competition, you must have noticed in my entire talk, the biggest competition is with you. You have to win over your mind. You should not become the puppet of your mind. You should become the master of your mind. Be your own king. And you are a king if you know how to rule yourself. You don't have the problem. You are the problem. Please remember this. So win over yourself. स्वर्ग भी तू है, नरक भी तू है. इन दोनों का फर्क भी तू है. जिंदगी छोटी नहीं होती, लोग जीना ही देरी से शुरू करते हैं. जब तक रास्ते समझ में आते हैं, तब तक लौटने का वक्त. So start living a new life from now on. With a different perception, with a different mindset, with a different everything. And then it's never too late to be what you might have been. Challenges keep us fresh. There is a very famous quote. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. Similarly, humans are not designed to be happy in status quo. So continue to remain dissatisfied with your life so that you can get better and better. Because challenges are what keep us fresh. This is a good principle to have. Don't take every challenge as a problem. Take every problem as a challenge. And these challenges are the doorways to excellence. They are the opportunities in disguise. What I said in the beginning. This is a beautiful quote. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls and others build windmills. It's up to you how you make use of the opportunities. And these are the habits of the most successful people in the world in diverse fields. These are the common habits. Strategic planning and deliverance, laser-sharp focus and determination, risk-taking ability, courage, hard work and consistency, never give up attitude, and health and fitness. Health and fitness is very important. At one stage, you may have everything, but health may let you down. That will not work. Because your intelligence, your skills will function at the peak of their capacity only when you are healthy and fit. Please remember that. Don't ignore health. Things end, people leave, time passes, memories fade, feelings change, and you know what? Life goes on. One day you will be just a memory for some people. Do your best to be a good one. So this is the last slide. जिंदगी के रंगमंच पर अपना किरदार इतनी शिद्दत से निभाएं कि पर्दा गिरने के बाद भी तालियां बजती रहें, क्योंकि जिंदगी नहीं मिलेगी दोबारा. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. This is my email ID. This is my cell number. You can always remain in touch. Give your feedback, give your comments, any suggestion. You are most welcome. And that's all for this talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really a very motivating session. And I can see so many comments coming of appreciation. So thank you. Any questions if you have, you can post it and we can take it further.
So thank you very much then.
So
And
yeah, thank
over
you.
to
Thank
you,
you so much.
Vimal. And
So
thanks.
we'll have more sessions from you. So I think in that the teachers will be there asking many questions as well, sir.
But then, my only advice is just don't listen to the talk only. Just try to, follow whatsoever I have said. It will change your life. Believe you me, it will change your life. I'm not saying just theoretically, this is a practical experience. So then over to you, Vimal, then. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And
Thanks once again, all the participants for their nice comments in the chat box. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So Anuja, you're taking it further?
Yes,
or-
yes.
Over to you, please.
And I'll request Shrutika to display also the slide of Vimal ma'am. And it's a delight now to welcome Professor Vimal again, although she has also only started the session. And it's a delight, also a pleasure to introduce her, although she doesn't need any introduction. So may I have the slide, please, also, Shrutika?
See, introducing Professor Vimal is like carrying snow to Himalayas.
Please.
I think you can tell, add rather.
So that's what I feel, because just as, just giving example, that's something like that.
And because some people will be new, so for their sake.
No, that's I was just mentioning.
So I request Shrutika was saying that she will be displaying the slide also. So I ask her to. And many of the participants, they are always again and again participating. They already know Professor Bakshi, Professor Vimal. But so today's topic, second session, the topic is going to be the curriculum development, teaching, learning, and assessment. This is part 1. And the second speaker of today is Professor Bimal Rar, also the coordinator of GAD-MMTTC and professor in Department of Chemistry, SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Next slide, please. And it's a delight to introduce her. Professor Bimal Rar is leading woman entrepreneur and is a leading woman entrepreneur in the field of e-learning and with an experience of more than 25 years, including a decade of experience in corporate e-learning world. She's amongst the pioneers in implementing ICT in higher education in the country. She has to her credit many research papers, patent, books, presentations, projects, and invited talks at local, national, and international forums. In the field of e-learning, Professor Rar has made a mark at the national level in various activities such as development of e-content, teachers e-kit, MOOCs, empowerment of teachers in ICT skills, introduction of newer teaching methodologies, etc. The 4-quadrant format of e-content has been co-designed by her for EPG Pathshala project of UGC. She has also authored around 400 modules of e-content in 4-quadrant format. At Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of MHRD Government of India, she has trained more than around 95,000 teachers. GAD TLC has been selected as Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center to conduct NEP and other trainings for all higher education teachers. At Center for E-Learning, SGTB Khalsa College, she has developed more than 50 MOOCs in 4-quadrant format for Swayam platform. She is the only chemistry teacher of the country to be awarded the National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD, Government of India, for developing ARPIT courses 3 times in a row for all chemistry teachers of India since 2018. She has been contributing to policy making at national level in various committees like Online Courses Regulations 2018 of UGC, E-Governance Committee, Technical Committee of National Academic Depository of UGC, and Expert Evaluation Committee for National Education Alliance in Technology of AICTE. A recent feather in her cap is that she member expert committee for the capacity building of faculty members under Malviya Mission Teacher Training Program, UGC, which will make guidelines and monitor the functioning of all 111 Malviya Mission Teachers Training Centers. So Professor R has been conferred with various awards like INSA Best Teacher Award 2020, Entrepreneur Award by it's a Education Bahrain Delhi Ratan Award, Edupreneur Innovator Award, to name a few. So we with heartiest welcome, we request Professor Raj to take up now the topic, curriculum development, teaching, learning, and assessment. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Professor Anuja. And it is again a privilege to be speaking with my all colleagues and especially with Professor Bakshi around, who has been my mentor to take the things further. And it has been a long journey, which I think we have taken more than a decade. So 2008, we started our journey of e-learning at Institute of Lifelong Learning, if I recall. And since then, we have been working with various other academicians at my college as well as across the nation. And how, as teachers, we have to be now changing our roles and learning these. So one thing is the NEP. Other part, I will say that as ourselves. So many times we may be feeling that all these ideal talks, there may be a practical difficulty, but you all have to be looking that keeping these ideal situation in our visionary document, what all we need to introspect and come out with the best of the best solutions to take the things in a very positive stride further. So that is my humble request to all my colleagues, and take these further, and we'll be deliberating that how really it can be implemented in an effective way. So what I will do is actually I will be taking the module on curriculum development, pedagogy and assessment. And I have divided this into 2 sessions. So one part I will be taking today, and the later part which will be talking about the pedagogy and assessment and how the IT tools can also be used. We'll be taking it my next session. But today, mostly I'll be focusing on the curriculum development. And this has to be done in the ambit of NEP and something called as outcome-based education. So before I go further, I'm looking at your chat. पहले तो एक अच्छी सी smile लेके आओ and feel relaxed. Can you put a smile on your face, because happy learning environment is something which will be putting your energies back. I know all of you are, I can see comment of Anamika that sessions are going very active. 3 घंटे तो है ही, but let us try to make some better moments also in between. And I am waiting for your smileys in the chat coming. उससे आगे नहीं जाऊंगी मैं तब तक. So put a smile in real and put the smileys in the virtual mode before we get started. And I'll interact with you somewhat. Fine? Okay, yes, Anamika, happy? All others also? Fine, great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, nice to see smiling faces of our students in the class. And that is what is my first request to all of you as teachers. When you go inside the class, we have to be putting this smile on our face. I think we are to be performers also. And if we look at Bollywood and Hollywood, then when they're going into that area where their videos and all being captured, irrespective of every other problem, they wear this smile and go ahead. So that is what my first request will be, that the happy environment in our classroom should be there. Fine. तभी तो बच्चे क्वेश्चन भी पूछेंगे, नहीं तो होगा अरे उन सर से तो कौन क्वेश्चन पूछे, उन मैडम से कौन पूछे, they'll be always blasting on us. So that should not happen. Okay. Now another question I would like to put you is one thing. Have you read the document of National Higher Education Qualification Framework? I want the reply yes or no, so that I can weave my things, go into more detail or find. So be honest, कोई इसके marks नहीं मिल रहे हैं. Fine, I will be accordingly going in depth or making it short. Okay, so most of you are not aware. Fine, very fine. So let me first share that, and before that I can also ask you, what is curriculum? Curriculum and syllabi are the same or not? Curriculum, syllabi are the same, yes or no? Can I get some responses for that? Okay, so many of you are already aware they are not same. Very fine, that's great. So what is the additional thing in curriculum which is not there in syllabi? Can we point upon that? What are those additional things that we have to keep in mind? So maybe Divya, you are saying they are not same. Can you just write program outcomes होते हैं? Okay. Monali is saying program outcomes. Rohit is saying learning objectives are there. Okay. So कुछ idea है सबको. Fine. So I'll try to weave in. All of you are learned and experienced colleagues, but the only thing is I will try to align it and structure it as per the various changes which have already taken place and what is required from us, from NEP document, the outcome-based education, and which are now also becoming very important parameters in NAC and other accrediting bodies. Fine. So let me just share my screen. And I'll keep on looking at the chat so you can, whatever thoughts are coming in your mind, I will try to integrate, or later on we can have the discussions again. Fine. So going to, I don't know why it is running. Let me just keep it in this mode. First of all, we have to understand a bigger picture. Now, Professor Bakshi has talked about the challenges and the feasible way ahead and what all can be done. He also talked about technology, and all these will be going into detail in each session. Now, when we look at the entire scheme of things from a teacher's perspective and the immediate university requirement, if we have to implement NEP in a proper way, then what we all have to be looking into is that we have to restructure many things. Now, what this restructuring will require? Taking in consideration this overall credit framework. So I'll talk about the two important documents which are under this, which will be the guiding documents to take us further, that how we have to align our courses as per the NEP's requirement and these particular documents. Then we will see that once we are clear about the overall framework that we have to design for the students, for providing them credit, what type of courses can be there. Now, for designing the curriculum of each of these courses, we have to be aligning our entire things in the so-called outcome-based education, where we also talk about the COPO mapping. Many of you must be already aware, and some who are not aware, but this is the area where we have to now go into more detailed understanding. So I will briefly touch upon that part as well. And then when we talk about teaching learning methodologies, then we have to go into different methodologies. Yes, whatever we have been doing till now, actually we have learned it the way our teachers have taught us. So that is not the right approach that we have to go further. So we need to now look at the methods which are learner-centric, ICT empowered, and how the blended learning can be used. So in between, before I take my second session, there will be a session by Professor Bakshi, where he will be talking about the details of the various learner-centric modules and how the technology can come into this space. And then again, I'll be connecting when I take it further. The moment we talk about blended learning, the blended learning or the learner-centric models cannot be implemented unless or until we have the empowerment of the digital resources, the so-called e-content. And what are the structured way of e-content production? What is a 4-quadrant approach? What are online courses, MOOCs, and how that can be developed for these as teachers? What is NEP talking about? That is something which will come in this particular area. No teaching learning is complete without the assessment, and now the assessments have to be much more, rather more continuous assessments. So how different assessment methods, and that too in the light of now you will be having courses, not simply the theoretical, but you'll also have the skill courses, value education courses, there will be internships coming. So the methods of assessments will not be same, just like that we have a 3-hour theory paper or a 2-hour and 1 hour. So that needs to change. And even the continuous formative assessment, how they can be made more scientific and technology empowered is something that this particular area will tell you. And then as teachers, as required in outcome-based education, we should also do the gap analysis for every batch going out. And that will give you overview that what are the missing activities, missing traits, the graduate attributes in our students, which we have not been able to cover, and that can be improved upon. Looking at that, as well as doing the periodic review, looking at the industry, society, and market requirement, and that will again pull you back on the top that for the next batch, again, you have to be improving upon the curriculum, courses, and then look at the implementation strategies, the content development around. So this becomes a continuous process, and this is the new overview of the roles that we are going to have. In some part, you may not be directly involved, like in framing the curriculum or the entire framework, but I'm sure as you move ahead, you all will be coming into this role, and many of you who are already senior, they are already in that process, but we have to do the things in a right way, and that is what I'll be taking you further. So first, let me talk about the overall credit framework, which is to be aligned as per National Credit Framework. So this is the document which is National Credit Framework. It is abbreviated as NCRF. And this is actually the report of high-level committee comprising the regulatory bodies of school and higher education. Yes, I am repeating. This is a document which spans right from school education to higher education. And we can say this is the very important implementation document which will be telling you about how many number of minimum credits have to be given for any student passing from one level to other level. And this starts right from class 6 onwards. Yes. And right from class 6 onwards, the credits will be reflected on their degrees and certifications. And further, just excuse me, yeah, I'm back. Furthermore, this particular framework, why it is required, because when the students are trying to move from one institution to other, one level to the other level, then these minimum standards in terms of the credits, there has to be a uniformity. So this is also important when the students move out at the global level. So they will be recognized. Otherwise, when you have the 3-year program, the student had to do one more year there and try to bridge the gap. So this will be putting a uniform structure, and that is why the importance of this, so that this is not talking about what you fill in inside, please. So let's not look at into if NEP is coming and we are filling the syllabi everything and then saying student ke paas time hi nahi hai kuch karne ke liye. So that is what we have to be now really looking, that what all is the general requirement, and then what we'll be putting inside the so-called curriculum and syllabi designing. Fine. So now let me go ahead. So this is the document which is school plus higher education. But then for our higher education purview, we have this document which is National Higher Education Qualification Framework, NHEQF. And you do the Google search or any other search, you will be finding this particular document on UGC website. It's a long document, but what I have done is I have taken the important points which we need to understand, and more details then you can refer to this very particular document. In any quiz, if we may be referring to any documents, in any quiz that will be asking, only that part will be asked which we are talking in the video live. Okay, so for your own understanding, you may go, but the quizzes we will not be asking in that. So let me make that thing also very clear. Now, this National Higher Education Qualification Framework is a document for implementation of NEP 2020, as I told. And what it enables the students, institutions is the flexibility and mobility, and also the equivalence between general education and vocational education. Now here I will like to slightly tell you one thing which we have to understand, not simply as teachers, but also as important members of our society, is that if you look at, there will be 2 skill education modules also, sessions. But then here I will like to mention that if we take 2 examples of 2 type of students, one, a engineering graduate coming from a premier institution, going into a white collar job, but nothing to do with the skills. Fine. Even if he or she is an automobile engineer, उसे ये नहीं पता कौन सा पेज कहाँ लगेगा. If he is an electrical engineer and you tell him that घर का fuse खराब हो गया है, तो he will not be able to fix it. On the other hand, we have the vocational institutions pass out the diploma, the PG diploma type of students who have worked with hands, but they are not called as engineers. The tag is not there. So there is a mismatch and great difference in society as well as in terms of their employability, because they have learned the skills, but they have not learned the theoretical aspect of that. On the other hand, the engineer, the so-called these, they have done the theoretical part, but they have not learned the skill. So NEP, it's not at first time the vocational education is being done. Vocational education is now being integrated, weaved into general education, and the general education is being weaved into vocational education, and that will provide equal opportunities and know-how to all the, and the social stigma कि ये बच्चा तो वो है, ये है, so that all will be removed to a greater extent, and we have to prepare our students and even the parents around that understanding. So उससे ये नहीं है कि skill का paper आ गया तो something that the students will be, so all that type of combination we have to be looking. And this also provides a gateway, because when you have a uniform structure across the institutions, across different levels, then multiple entry, multiple exit becomes easier in terms of implementation. We are also talking about broad-based multidisciplinary holistic education when we are talking about NEP 2020. So there will be a detailed session, and itself, this document talks about what is the real meaning of holistic education itself, and I'll be putting some points across to all of you to think over, so that when you are called for making a curriculum, you keep that in mind. And if any curriculum comes, irrespective NEP or no NEP, then also you can implement the so-called holistic education for our students for their holistic development. But then this all will require imaginative and need-based curricular structures. Unfortunately, we are still doing mixing and matching of the old. Can we just ignore all the earlier so-called curriculum and syllabi? Why, as committee members, we always refer to, can we not look at what are the requirements of the industry and the society? Can we not talk to the alumni who is passing out when they're really going into the job scenario? What are the skill sets they would have acquired in the UG level and would have fared better? What is that every industry needs, market needs, and that is what is required. So creative combination of subjects and discipline, not that I am a chemistry teacher, so मैं chemistry के अलावा कुछ नहीं पढ़ाने दूंगी अपने बच्चों को. But how combination of chemistry, bio, physics, economics, other things, psychology, humanity, everything has to be looked into, is what is a newer dimension when we are talking about NEP 2020. And we should be knowing what are the credit levels, credit and credit points. This is not a new term to all of us, but then we have here again non-uniformity across our country when the credit duration is defined. So can I just ask from each one of you, in your institution before the NEP 2020, because many must have already gone further. So before the NEP 2020, one credit is equal to how many hours? I'm just waiting for your answers. How many number of hours you will give equivalent to one credit? Theory, one credit is 1 hour. Someone is writing 15, someone is writing 1. 15 hours. So it's revolving between 1 and 15. Those who are writing 15, can they tell to the 1 hour why that 15 you have counted? Why it should not be 1 hour? One credit 15, total lecture 45. 1 credit equal to 15 lectures, 15, 1 hour in a week. Okay. So let us make the things clear. बिल्कुल इस पे भी है, should be in the same thing. अब CBCS है या जो भी है, we will now start afresh. First of all, credits are defined. Yes, we'll come to now you can 2 hours in a week someone is writing. So we need to differentiate between the different type of credits. I'll tell you. First, let us start with the definition of credits. Okay? Credits are a function of achieving the desired learning outcomes for a program or course or training determined by the successful assessment. Now, note very two important things, and this is the basis of outcome-based education, because we are talking about desired learning outcome, which is the start of the curriculum, and its successful assessment. And that's where the assessment. So curriculum and assessment, they go hand in hand. The credits will be awarded only after the desired learning outcomes are achieved, which are determined by the successful assessment. Fine. Credit is also defined as recognition that a learner has completed a prior course of learning corresponding to a qualification at a given level. So we say the credit earned at class 12th level will mean that at that level, the student is already there and now he or she can enter into UG level. Similarly, UG first level, then going into the U. So now the credit levels are also introduced, and if you look at the amount of one credit is equivalent to 30 notional learning hours. Now, till now, we were impression of having 15 or one period per week. Now, this is a major change that one credit is equivalent to 30 notional learning hours. And one more point to notice here is that we are talking about learning hours, not teaching hours. So we have to be very clear about that. Fine. So learning hour means itself, this definition is telling it has to be a learner-centric model. Because unless or until the learning has happened, that credit cannot be awarded. And if we take this into account, one more important thing it says is about the total notional learning hours per year. So 1200 hours per year at our UG and PG higher education level, that is equivalent to 40 credits. So 40 credit is the minimum number of credits that when we design the structure, they should be there at UG first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and so on. And that will mean obviously 20 credits per semester. It also says additional credits can be earned beyond 40 credits. Now, this is something which we have to exploit. And in global university, many students, they earn more number of credits by taking the majors or minors combination, and they have that flexibility. So once we achieve this minimum number, which is still now being implemented in a unit that all the students should be doing this, but gradually we will be moving into a way where there will be flexibility given to the student that in some semester they will be earning less credit and overall they will be earning more credits in the other semester, so that overall 40 credits can be there, and even they can earn more credits which will be reflected in their mark sheet, which will be giving them an upper edge over the other students. Maybe they will like to have more combination of the courses. So all that is a possibility according to this document. Now coming to different type of courses and then the credit going into different implementation. If you look at the teaching hours or in our timetable, the so-called workload that we make. So all the answers that you were giving me, it was around the theory paper. Fine. Most of you are very around. But let me make it more clear. Why it is 15 hours? First of all, because in every semester, there are 15 weeks. Fine. So 15 weeks will mean that if we put 1 hour class, then it will give us 15 hours. So those 15 hours will be equivalent to 1 credit for a theory, because now that 30 notional hour, I talk about notional learning hour. Now, what is the correlation here? In each theory class, a new concept is taught or discussed and the student is learning something new. So it is his or her involvement automatically there. But then that is not all. The students will be now putting more efforts for the theory, and on an average, as per the proven research, it is there that they will be involving at least 15 hours on an average. Koi kam karega, koi zyada karega, but 15 hours, the average learner's point. And if you frame a curriculum, जहां पे उसको 15 hours की जगह 100 घंटे लगाने हैं, तो you are making a wrong curriculum. Keep it in mind. So ideally, what is being taught in 1 hour, the student should be able to put another hour, maximum though, because some learners will be slow, so they will require more time. Some will do it half an hour. So that is the ideal framework, that at least on the average, it should be 1 hour. उससे कम भी नहीं होना चाहिए कि जो क्लास में पढ़ा है वही बहुत है, पढ़ाएं. That also will not be giving us the volume of the credit. So that is something that we have to see in a realistic situation. Also, when we talk about the practicals, the experiments, ये भी हमारे पहले से हैं. My science colleagues and others, those who have practicals, they will vouch for that. Now here, for practical course of 1 credit, we give 2 classes per week. And if it is a 2 credit course, then we'll be putting 4 classes. Why? Because in the practical, they are already dependent on the theory, and experiments or whatever activity is being performed based on those concepts already learned. So they are just to do the experiment, apply and do discussion around. So repetition of an already learned concept is there. It will reinforce that, and observations are taken again and again, but it will not require additional self-learning. So जो 30 घंटे मैंने बोला, 1 credit is equal to 30 notional learning hours. That is perfectly fitting here. And that's why for a practical component, you have 1 credit equivalent to 30 hours. So I'm clear on these parts. Dr. Monali is saying, repeat the practical. I'll definitely do that. So for theory, the student puts 15 hours in class, the teaching hours, and 15 hours in addition at home, reading books, making notes, otherwise library and all. So that makes 30 hours of learning. And that's why theory 1 credit is equal to 15 hours. So while making timetable, the student will meet to the teacher. So these are the teaching hours. And there will be 1 class per week for a theory paper. But when we go to practical, there is no additional time to be spent by the learner. जो भी learning है उस practical की वो उसी class में होगी, and that's why you have to give 30 hours. Fine. So 1 credit will require 2 classes per week. So if it is a 2 credit paper, you will be putting 4 classes per week for a practical. But theory, 2 credit will mean you will put 2 classes. 3 credit paper, 3 classes, 4 credit paper, 4 classes per week. Fine. Now coming to one more thing, which is a new addition, is the experiential learning or internship or some field activity, and we'll have new dimensions coming. Teaching in NGOs, and I'll talk about that, what all can be included. Here it is saying, this document is saying 1 credit is 40 to 45 hours. So if you want to integrate, like if you want to have a teacher guiding the research, students research in the 4th year, then you should be allocating 3 periods per week. Fine. Or if they are going into industry and they are spending the time, then again, this much minimum is there. And if you want to shrink it down, that okay, in a condensed form, maybe they do it as a 45 to 50 hours training. So then also you can take that cognizance and award 1. So it can be just like that you have a 2 credit paper, out of which 1 credit paper is done through the experiential learning. Different models you will have to evolve, and that can be done. So I will take it as a 115 multiplied by 2 and multiplied by 3. So 15, 30 and 45 hours in a semester when you are making the teaching workload in our classroom and looking at reality, how the student is putting his or her time. I hope this is clear till now. Okay, very good. Thank you. But then there are some interesting things coming, that learning hours is now not simply confined to the curricular. अभी तक हम वो पढ़ाई in sense only the curricular part. We will also have the co-curricular and extracurricular through which they can earn credit. Now, what does it mean? That these co-curricular and extracurricular 1 credit or 2 credit courses can also be embedded. That's why you see some sports, some yoga courses can also be weaved in. So you can look at your own resources, requirement, and accordingly put these flavors. So what these components of learning hours will constitute? These are the routine ones, the classroom teaching, learning hours, ये तो हमने कर ही लिया है. But साथ में we'll have to now add components of experiential learning. And this experiential learning has to be a proper one, like internship. Plus, also in our own every class, can we do that? Can we have experiential learning embedded in each and every course? I'll talk about the activities when I talk about assessment in my next session. These learning hours can also be celebration of festivals in institutions, music performance, self-defense classes, value education classes, career counseling, other contests, sports, games, physical activity, yoga, life skills-based education, employment skills, basic operational skills, classes on morals, etiquettes, constitutional values, environment sensitivity, social or community work, adult education, teaching in NGOs, environment-related, gender sensitization, NCC, Shramdan, vocational education, training, skilling, minor or major project work, field visits, projects, industry attachments, internship and apprenticeship hours, and also programs offered through blended online or digital learning like on SWAM platform. We'll have detailed sessions on ICT. Many institutions have not integrated. Here also there is something that we have to be taking it in a positive way. Many institutions are doing, नहीं online हो जाएगी तो हमारी requirement नहीं है तो हम online नहीं आने देंगे. No, we have to take it in a very positive way. Face-to-face interactions teaching are more important in developing the students' overall personality, no doubt about that. And even education policy talks about that. I'll come to that also. But then how these online courses have to be taken, you have to keep two broad things in mind. One is regarding the gross enrollment ratio of 50% by 2035. How do we achieve this? How many new institutions we can open is not possible. And this will not mean कि हम उतने ही students को पकड़ के बैठे रहे and we say that okay, so this is the provision, you add online courses up to 40% you can do. So 40% seat भी बढ़ा दो. That is one way. Other way is now when you have the new courses, skill courses, value addition courses coming, will you employ new teachers? Is one my question. Or we will upgrade ourselves to learn these skills and teach ourselves. So our shift goes now in these requirements from student point of view. भी देखिए, बच्चे को पूरे दिन हम theory भी पढ़ा रहे हैं, hands on भी करवा रहे हैं. Look at the time requirement from that. So if some part can be put up in online mode, in the flexible timing, so the theoretical courses can go in online and more hands-on and practical in our campuses where we interact with them and we can cater to more number of students. So that is the positive way where we can really integrate and reach to that ambitious target, because education has to be for everyone. We should not be just confining. नहीं हमारी तो कट ऑफ हो गई, अब इसके बाकी वाले बच्चे जो भी करें, we don't care. No, that should not be the spirit. So try to understand the entire national perspective and also keeping the various factors in mind. So what we are talking about in this document is the holistic development of students, which will be now not simply relying on the academic access. अभी तक 6th class, 8th class, 10th, 12th, UG, PG यही तक कर रहा है. बाकी चीजें थोड़ी बहुत हो रही हैं. They are not in the mainstream of structure. So now you have to add the national skill qualification, skill levels, skill access will be, courses will be there. Here again, many skill courses are being added by just 3-4 teachers sitting, not talking to industry. So please take the industry in loop and also better look at the NSQF document, which is also getting revised under the aegis of Ministry of Skill and Ministry of Education. Both of these are working together and we should be following that different levels, because some of these skills will also be introduced in the school education. So you'll also have to see that what type of courses are being introduced in the skill courses, the vocational courses at the school level, आप same तो नहीं repeat कर सकते हो higher education में. So you have to see what is happening in school education and what is happening in higher education, and accordingly try to weave in these structures. And this more access is the experiential access, where the hands-on, on-job training, where they work as team and they get confidence, and the real life situation that okay, otherwise होता है कि वो पहले पढ़ाई 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 रटे और वहां पे जाते हैं, जॉब बॉस बोले तेरे को ये भी नहीं आता, किसने बताया है, कहाँ से आएगा. So all those things are now embedded, and that is what we mean by holistic development of student. And in a nutshell, when we have to do this, we have to implement the so-called competency-based education. As Professor Bakshi was also mentioning, that competency is a combination of knowledge, skill, and abilities or attitudes. And all these three are very important for being successful in the professional space as well as the personal space. Now, with this background, I am now going to show you two important slides which you should take the screenshot. They are there in this document, but then I have compiled them in a different way. So when you are designing any curriculum, okay, major part, the so-called syllabi, where will this syllabi be derived from, is you have to be identifying those concepts in your core area. Once you have decided this very particular paper will be of chemistry, so chemistry के अंदर क्या आएगा, physics के अंदर क्या आएगा, computers के अंदर क्या आएगा, and whatever you have identified for that particular combination. So comprehensive knowledge, coherent understanding, linkages with field, and you'll list down what topics, subtopics are there. This is something we have been doing till now. Practical, professional, and procedural knowledge of doing the related professional or highly skilled work, and add skills in the areas related to the specialization. Let me give you one example, that if there is a biology student and one area of their professional growth can be that they are into some pathology lab, but in pathology lab, they should be knowing the instrument handling, doing that biological test, but also the ethical and the very important parameters, like if two of us, Anuja and me, we go for diabetes test, पता लगा जो वहां पे स्टूडेंट अब एम्प्लॉय हो गया है, he or she will mix our samples. तो पता लगा हाँ किसी को होनी नहीं चाहिए हम में से, बट लेट्स अज्यूम कि मेरे को डायबिटीज थी और उसने मेरे को तो बोल दिया कि आपको नहीं है, और अनुजा को नहीं थी तो अनुजा को बोल दिया आपको डायबिटीज है, बिकॉज ही और शी हैज मिक्स्ड द सैंपल्स. तो कैन वी write from very important thing that what are the skill sets and important cautions we have to take in different industries? Can they be integrated when we are making maybe the practical paper of this? And one more area which is neglected a lot is capacity to extrapolate from what has been learned, translate the concept to real life situation. So real life situation, हम theory को ऐसे पढ़ा दें जैसे real life से कुछ लेना देना ही नहीं है. So take examples from real life, and here I will say take examples from regional. वो बाहर के वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड के एग्जाम्पल्स काम नहीं आएंगे. आप अपने आसपास देखिए. इफ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट ए फिजिक्स फिनोमेना विद द हेल्प ऑफ फ्रिज, और एक गांव के ट्राइबल एरिया के बच्चे ने फ्रिज ही नहीं देखा है, तो द थिंग्स कैन नॉट बी रिलेटेड. तो उसको आप मटके के उससे एग्जाम्पल से समझाइए. सो लुक एट योर रीजनल एग्जाम्पल्स, द रियल लाइफ सिचुएशंस, एंड देन ट्राई टू पुट इट, एंड ऑल्सो take them to the level where they can apply this in new or unfamiliar context. And the recent biggest example which made our entire human race alive after this corona is an unseen situation for all of us, isn't it? तो हमारे बायोलॉजिस्ट, हमारे केमिस्ट, हमारे इकोनॉमिस्ट, सबने मिलके सॉल्यूशंस निकाले, हर एवरीवन, even laymen and every person who has contributed to make the things easier for those who have gone through this difficult phase. We all of us. So can there be a nurturing of our students to prepare them for this? Then how that can be done? For that we also have to add the generic learning outcomes. So एक तो learning outcomes हमारे subject के around हो गए, discipline के around या interdisciplinary areas. Now we talk about generic learning. This is missing to a great extent in a structured way. और सारा outcome based education इसके around है. So the so-called program outcomes are derived from combination of this plus this. And what are these generic learning outcomes? Complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, communication skills, analytical reasoning or thinking, research related skills, collaborating or coordinating with others, leadership readiness qualities, learning how to learn, digital or technological skills, multicultural competence, inclusive spirit. We will have a module on one session on multicultural and inclusivity also, where we'll learn more about that. Value inculcation, autonomy, responsibility, accountability, environment awareness, community engagement, empathy. तो कुछ के तो हम पेपर बना देते हैं जैसे environment और communication का, but that does not mean कि putting one communication skill paper will do the purpose all. Every teacher should be ensuring that the communication skills and all these other things are being nurtured in their classroom. And that will require the curriculum designing in a different way than we have been doing. हम अभी जो हमारे सीनियर टीचर्स ने बनाया, जो हम पढ़ाते जा रहे थे, उसी को मिक्स मैच करके, और कहीं ना कहीं हमारी बुक ये छपी हुई है, प्लीज लीव दैट. Leave that. You will have to move from the theoretical to more hands-on, the more skills embedded, more activities to be done. And that is the major change. So now let us move ahead. Before we go further, we should also know what is actually, apart from these pointers we have taken, where have we got these pointers and what is the main document which we should refer to design our curriculum? Yes, anyone? Anyone from education here? Because we have to learn so much from our education colleagues. Even I was not aware when we started this in 2017, we started the first faculty induction program, and curriculum designing was introduced. And I heard a session by Professor Ved Prakash sir, who himself is he's a doctorate in education. And then I came to know that I'm going to share with all of you. And then I learned more around this. If you look at the curriculum, then in order to design curriculum, we have to ask ourselves 4 fundamental questions. That what is the educational purpose? So where do you get the purpose? If you have any course for chemistry or physics or BA or BCom, why are we giving that course to the student? Can we find that answer for ourselves? And where will you get that answer? What are the real life applications? And what will be the job prospect of the student? So if you talk about, like, say, why the students are being given a degree of economics honors, can we prepare them to be finance minister of our country? They will require that. So look at what are the job roles. So can we look around these and then see what are the theoretical and the skills and competency, everything which will be required, they have to be integrated in our curriculum. We also have to see what are the educational experience. अब उनको complete करने के लिए, what are the educational experiences you will give in the form of teaching learning methods. And then organization of these educational experience, stepwise, structured way, you have different modules, different activities that you conduct, and then determination of attainment of are we able to achieve those purposes or not? So we have to keep these 4 fundamental questions in our mind as we go further. Also, in order to derive the educational purpose, we have to look at our country's need also. Every country will have to align their education system so that their vision, which is mentioned in their constitution. So the constitution of our country, which is the breathing instrument, and it is having the national aspirations and also the feeling of pride for all us as Indian citizens, how we want our community to be evolving, what type of professional preparations we have to do in different subjects, different needs. That includes every component of our society. So you cannot say that X course is more important than Y course. All of them have important relevance. Fine. And we have to look at what our constitution says. Then you can only refer to the preamble because that describes the philosophy of the constitution, and it describes the hopes of people, describes the aspiration of people, and describes the ideals of the nation that we have to keep in mind before we move further. And as people of India, we have solemnly resolved to constitute our country, India, into a sovereign, democratic, socialist, secular republic. So all these ingredients should be ingrained through the education system to our students, whether in terms of providing them empowerment in justice, liberty of thoughts, equality, and to promote fraternity. And Article 51A, जो शायद हमने क्लास 6, 7th, 8th में कब रटे लगाया होगा, time to revisit, and some points I will take is the national anthem, national pride. तो कहीं ना कहीं अपनी क्लास में वो एंगल भी जरूर लेके आओ when we have also the national struggle of freedom में who are the noble ideals, uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. सब courses में नहीं, but वहाँ पे और wherever you can ingrain it should be defend the country and render national service when called upon. So if you see we are preparing our students, some of them who are interested in NSS type, so that we create a society which is able to meet all these national requirements, promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, protect and improve the natural environment. ये आउटकम बेस्ड एजुकेशन से पहले हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा हुआ है. So Article 51 is a complete guiding light for us, and you see, including forests, lake, rivers, wildlife, to have compassion for living creatures. Develop the scientific temper, not simply in the science student, but even everyone. Develop humanism in everyone. And that's why if you recall the premier institutions like IITs, they were only putting the students into physics, chemistry, maths, etc. And as if nothing to do with the humanity and that's after that the humanities courses were introduced, and they are very important. And similarly for other students, the scientific temper. Every time in every walk of life, simple science is being applied. And that is something very, very important. One example being a chemistry teacher, I'll say, when hydrogen gas is filled up in the balloons, that can explode like anything and can spoil the birthday parties. And many accidents are there in the news around that. But then there are better gases like helium, argon, which slightly costly, but they will not be putting. Similarly, now there are so many sprayers coming in the birthday parties, marriage functions. और क्रेन से उठा के दूल्हा दुल्हन को ऊपर से ला रहे हो वो. So all these event management, the safety aspect, we education system हमने वो इतने बड़े बड़े laws की definition और derivations तो रट्टे लगवाती हैं, but somehow the students are not able to relate with the real life situation, and as a society we are facing these type of challenges. Safeguard public property and abjure violence. हमारे कैंपस में ही हमारे बच्चे क्लास में बैठ के जाते जाते वो डेस्क तोड़ के जाते हैं, कुछ और तोड़ दिया. what type of citizens are we making? So ये नहीं कि सिर्फ अपनी क्लास पढ़ाई, and then we have to be nurturing them at every step in this direction and strive towards excellence. It's not about getting on the gold medal top, और अगर मैं second आ गई तो मैं suicide कर लूंगी and I will not let the other students come on the top. Not that type of competition is not required. So it has to be excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, because as a team we progress further rather than just me. So we have to be putting the students into group activities, so right from the beginning they can be nurtured into working into groups, and that is what is the basis of entire the so-called outcome based education. Till now, any questions? Yes. I hope it's coming fine. You are there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's now go further. Okay, another smile. Yes, please. Some more smiles. And you're free to साथ में चाय पियो, पानी पियो. Perfect. Yes. You can have snacks also. I cannot share it, but go ahead.
I think they can send some smiles.
Yeah, we can
To
definitely.
refresh.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. So बीच में थोड़ा we should this is actually we are given more syllabi so that we can orient and your teachers, but students के साथ तो आप one way तो बहुत कम रखेंगे. Fine, and we will be looking at the models where we can go into more interactions. Okay. Now coming to outcome based education, ये क्या है? Let us understand. Outcome based education was first of all implemented in India by AICT. Fine. And why? Because when the graduates from our top institutions like IITs were not recognized by various universities and employers at the global level. Because at the global level, the graduate attributes that there are different professions broadly. If you say engineering ho gayi, then you have similarly pharmacy, the medical and others fields. So there are some traits which we call as graduate attributes. So they were not indicated in the degrees as well. Fine. And now in the curriculum, so curriculum needs to be integrating all these and nothing. Those जो मैंने slide दिखाई थी, the disciplinary specific and the generic learning outcome, उनको मिला जुला के looking at your program. So what is the program? Program will be the 4-year program. BSc हो गया, BA हो गया, BCom हो गया, BTech हो गया, B Pharma हो गया, BPA हो गया. So what all are the requirement? और यहाँ पे आपको ज्यादा नहीं करना, because the regulators will give their attributes. किसी में 12 होंगे, किसी में 15 होंगे, किसी में 8 होंगे, and so on. So let me give you some examples and how come I got associated with this and I also learned more. I was called for a review of a book when NEP 2020 was rolled out in 20. In around February, March 2021, AICT called me for reviewing a chemistry book that they want to now align it. बहुत ज़्यादा books नहीं थी, सिर्फ 3 कुछ 8-10 के करीब books थी, उनकी ज़्यादा नहीं थी, courses तो बहुत सारे हैं. So chemistry was one of them, and I was already associated in studio development and all. So I was also shown, and like, no, this is not aligned to the so-called outcome-based education and NEP. So then I shared one template that these are the additions which can be done. And then entire committee was formulated, and all of them, they gave their inputs and how it can be aligned with the outcome-based education. And then these books were translated in 12 languages. Yes, after this book, these series of books are written now. We are already through with 2 years. Now I am doing a workshop for the authors who are from IITs and other institutions for the 3rd year. And they are being translated in 12 languages. And now some of the engineering institutions are allowed to offer the engineering courses in the translated languages. Yes, the regional languages, and that is the major, I think, the different type of application of NEP 2020, which is so much good to witness, where now students in their own local language can pursue the serious courses like engineering. So all this change has happened because it was padhayega kaun, then where are the books? So the English books were written and then they were translated into 12 languages, and based on that the different courses are now offered. So this has been a full journey, and here these were the 12 outcome ki 4 saal ki BTech ke baad the students will be prepared into all these attributes. And why? Because नेशनल बोर्ड ऑफ, जैसे यूजीसी को के लिए एक्रेडिटेशन के लिए हमारा NAC है, NBA नेशनल बोर्ड ऑफ एक्रेडिटेशन इज देयर फॉर द टेक्निकल कोर्सेज. सो वी शुड आल्सो बी नोइंग दिस. So NBA signed a treaty with Washington Accord. So our country has signed that, and that was followed by NAC as well. And there for NBA, the technical courses, these are the 12. Look at this: engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design development of solution, modern tool usage, engineering society, environment, ethics, teamwork, communication. All these I was talking about earlier, which is there now in NEP. But this is what I am talking about in almost 2015 when this was implemented. And after that, NAC also adopted. Even the UGC guidelines, when the LOCF was there, has already mentioned 15 graduate attributes. So these are the 15 graduate attributes. And if you see, the disciplinary knowledge is just one. We have to be showing clear indicators कि ये activity करवाई जिससे communication skill enhance हुए, इससे critical thinking, इससे scientific reasoning, इससे cooperation, teamwork. So we have to be now preparing in these directions. So refer to the broad things, and now this can be implemented in each and every course. So these form the POs. These are the broad POs, and you have to now design courses जहाँ हर course में किसी में 3, किसी में 4, किसी में 5 course outcomes which are called as COs. Yes, Dr. Mahesh, hope it is clear. So program is for the, जैसे 4 साल की पूरी हमारी कोई डिग्री हो रही है तो उनको हम प्रोग्राम बोल रहे हैं. हर डिग्री में 2-2 सेमेस्टर हर साल में है तो 8 सेमेस्टर हो गए. हर सेमेस्टर में 4, 5, 6 पेपर्स होंगे. तो these papers are called as courses, और उन कोर्स के जो आउटकम्स होंगे उनको हम कोर्स आउटकम्स बोलते हैं. So what you have to do is in every course you have to see कि इसमें से कौन से 4-5 हम इकट्ठे करें, डालें, and then you make a summation of these. तो पूरे 4 साल में आपके ये सारे टिक मार्क और 1, 2, 3 लेवल. 1 मतलब बहुत ही बेसिक लेवल. सेकंड कोई कोर्स कोई ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट 1 पे होगा, कोई 2 पे होगा, कोई 3 पे होगा. फाइन. एंड देन लेटर ऑन यू कैन इम्प्रूव अपॉन सी कि किस कोर्स में रह गया. एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज ऑल अबाउट द गैप एनालिसिस. So you talk about your institutional gap analysis also, and that was done at engineering courses. Different institutions were mapped, and it was found that these are lacking to a great extent, and the curriculum should be clearly mentioning the activities aligned कि उससे ये होगा, उससे ये होगा. And that is what is the great area where we all teachers have to be preparing ourselves. And this is the major emphasis point at the global level and NAC and BA हर जगह, and the so-called outcome-based education. So उसकी पूरी metrics है, and then we have to be preparing ourselves towards this. So how to write learning outcomes is some more part I will focus, because when we make curriculum, तो हम क्या करते हैं, वो mix and match किया और उनमें से जो समझ आ रहा है, अच्छा जी बच्चे ने डिफाइन कर लिया, नो कर लिया, अंडरस्टैंड कर दिया, लिख के वो 3-4 खाना पूर्ति की लाइन कर देते हैं. यस, आई एम बीइंग वेरी ब्लंट because I have analyzed many curriculum and we all need to improve upon that. So learning outcome is an exit outcome defined as a visible display of the learning which is measurable at various levels. So learning outcome सिर्फ लिखने से काम नहीं चलेगा. आपने ये learning outcome लिखा है तो उसको आप किस मेजर, चाहे आप उसमें क्वेश्चन डाल रहे हो, इसीलिए हर क्वेश्चन की मैपिंग करनी है. Every question, even if it is a 1 mark question, you will say which particular CO it is mapping with, or PO, or with you. So activities which learners will be able to perform, even including the theoretical paper pencil type of examination. And if they are at program level, तो जो मैंने graduate attributes, so POs are same. So you'll see at your regulator, they will be giving you 15 है, 7 है, 8 है, you take them as such. Course outcomes will be decided by you or the group of teachers who will be making this for different courses. But I will say start with unit or chapter level. Many of our courses are divided into 2-3 units. So think इस यूनिट में मैं क्या एक्टिविटी करवा सकते हैं, क्या असेसमेंट करवा सकते हैं, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली नाउ डू द बैक वर्क ऑफ मेकिंग द कोर्स आउटकम from the unit outcome. So unit outcomes को मिला के you can write the course outcome, and that is a better strategy. And every learning outcome, चाहे वो course level का हो, चाहे unit level का हो, चाहे program का हो, when you have to properly review it in words, then it should start with an action verb. Action verb कहाँ से मिलेंगी? Action verb मिलेंगी आपको Bloom's taxonomy से. Fine. So Bloom's taxonomy, remember, understand, are at the lower level, जहाँ पे हमारा ज्यादा फोकस अभी यही पे है. कुछ अप्लाई कर दिया. What can be done to analyze, evaluate, and create that very better? So try to go up, and then avoid know, learn, understand, appreciate, because these are not measurable. If you say the student should be able to appreciate this concept, कैसे check करोगे? So the learning outcome should be smart. That is, they have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be attainable, they have to be relatively challenging and time bound. So you cannot write some learning outcome of making a machine which the students don't have resources. That is not attainable. You cannot make a field activity or a group project which you say will require 2 years to complete. You have 1 semester, so everything should be doable under these requirements, and that's how you design the. And then for program, learning outcomes are on the top. So every program has semester 1, 2, 3, and so on till 8. Every semester will have different courses. Every course will have different units, and that was the structure we adopted at AICT. So we have unit level outcomes being called as U, course level outcome CO. NAC sees CO, but it is always better because you will not be able to fill up all the POs unless or until you are clear about the activities, and activities will come at the very elementary level at the unit level. So this becomes the structure, and then you do the mapping of every chapter with CO, then CO with PO, and then you'll be able to see where the strong correlation is there, where medium correlation is there, where the weak correlation that you thought. But then really attained में क्या है? Some students may be even, आपने 1 लिखा, students may be getting 3. आपने 3 लिखा, the students will be getting 10. So all those things you can improve upon. So with this background, I think we have to be changing. और अगर आपको लगता है change क्यों है, I will just take 5 more minutes. We have moved from this era, which I can recall as teacher Guru Shishya Parampara. Yes, can we recall this? Yes, Ashwini, we get POs from our regulators. तो UGC की लिस्ट है, AICT की लिस्ट है. अगर आपका B Pharma का कोर्स है तो Pharmacy Council of India will provide that. So look at the latest documents. They will be all there. Fine. Can we go back to this era? और अगर आपको लगता है इन टीचर्स को मुश्किल नहीं होगी, imagine the teacher, the guru looking in the eyes of the student is now facing back. Why? Because the advent of these green boards, black boards, we can now cater to many students. So यहाँ पे many नहीं है, यहाँ 3-4 बच्चे हैं. And the stories like Eklavya, we are not providing access equity. Takers भी नहीं थे, अब तो सबको education चाहिए, और क्यों नहीं चाहिए होगी? Everyone should get. And we move to projectors. We again are face to face with our students, but then still this is teacher-centric model. Coronavirus came and we learned technologies. That's the best part. And now how the technology can be integrated, not like this. I salute all the teachers who made their efforts to make the content available, but then we are having better ways, which I'll talk about in the next session. And we also have to prepare ourselves for, I'm waiting for this scenario in my classroom where I have a robot teacher, where any information I ask, but then my role is going to be changed and more important to prepare my students to work with the machine, but with a human touch. So it is difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. So technology needs to be learned. There's no अगर हम वही 20 साल पहले जैसे मोबाइल फोन्स आए थे, ये मेरे लिए नहीं है. I think now you see the way technology has, there are always positive, negative points of everything, but then we have to also prepare our students. So we need to convert ourselves into tech-savvy teachers, knowing newer pedagogies. So I will stop my session here, and in between my next session, there will be Professor Bakshi who will be talking about the learner-centric models, and then I'll be taking you through the details on how the e-content development you can do, what are the 4-quadrant models and all, and then how you can use the technology for your own e-content production. I've also put up day after tomorrow, Dr. Arun Julka will be taking a hands-on session on how some tools, and I requested him to share some latest AI tools as well with you. And that's how we plan to take the things further. So thank you so much. Any questions? I am here. Thank you, Anuja. Over to you.
Yes. Yes, the platform is now open for questions.
Yes, all of can be muted, unmuted, sorry. Shrutika or Ankit, कौन है Zoom पे? Make a provision of unmuting everyone so that we can interact with our colleagues.
All are thanking, and I think everybody is very happy. I mean, commenting positively.
I could see one
I
question.
think you can ask few questions. You can write in the chat box also.
Yeah.
Whatever in this session you have to ask.
So for those who are looking at how to write CO, please refer to some resources of syllabi are available of every global university. Look into your own subject also, and then try to contextualize in all the light I have told you. And that's how you have to mention. For CO, you can also make 2 headings, that these are the subject specific COs or discipline specific, and then these are the generic COs, generic learning outcomes based, where you know that, okay, I have to prepare my student into communication skills. So then you have an activity. So just writing will not do. Whatever you're writing in course outcome, that should be assessed through some activity or assessments tools. Fine. So that is something that will be required. Anamika would be able to identify the problem. I'm not getting which problem. Can you be more elaborate on that? In my next session, Dr. Manali, I'll definitely take some examples here. Ashwini,
Yes.
here the intent is not because here you see there we have been given 10 modules. So the idea of this program is that we are making you sensitize and orient towards the newer changes under the ambit of NEP. And now you identify that which are the areas which as a teacher you want to now learn more in depth. So we keep on then doing various programs, all the centers are having. So if you find some title like outcome-based education, then definitely in outcome-based education, you'll be finding detail. एक हफ्ते का FDP जरूर करो item. If you find that you don't know the ICT tools, learning management system, blended learning, then you should go LMS, कहीं पे भी दिख गया, then enroll in those particular courses, you'll be learning. AI tools क्या है, technology tools क्या है, teaching learning में. So idea is you get the overview. अगर कहीं लगता है Indian knowledge system में मेरे को नहीं पता, and there is the FDP on Indian knowledge system, values inculcation. So then all these are the areas taken in detail. But this program is about sensitizing you. So here we will not be able to do the justice, but then you will have to go into 1 week FDP. Like simply e-content, 4-quadrant, because EPG Pathshala, it was my and Professor Bakshi's creation, the first chemistry sample, which was accepted for all 77 subjects. And we do 1 week FDP just on e-content development. So you identify where you need to learn more, and these are the changing times where we have to prepare ourselves. Or जो expert बनते जाते हैं, they become, you conduct sessions for others, do the handholding of school teachers also, which is very, very required. Yes, when
Thank you.
course outcome is different from unit is same as chapter. तो program तो हो गया 4 साल का, उसके अंदर हर सेमेस्टर में हमारे 5-6 कोर्स आ रहे हैं, तो कोर्स लेवल पे कोर्स आउटकम, कोर्स के अंदर हमारे 3-4 यूनिट्स होंगे और चैप्टर्स होंगे. ओके, सो दोज विल बी यूनिट आउटकम्स. आई होप इट इज क्लियर. And you can go on AICT website. Already 2-year books are available. You'll get some idea that how these are, although there is always a scope of improvement, because all the teachers are now making for the first time these COs, PO, and there will be always a scope of improvement. But this is how in nutshell it goes.
I think Monali's question has been addressed. She's asking about inspiring students for critical thinking.
I'll give, because when we have the assessment part, then I'll give.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes, Vanita, please.
ma'am. Actually, we are mapping CO with PO,
Okay.
course outcome with program outcome.
Ah.
In between, we have included now as unit outcome also. Is there any possibility map like that, or only CO to PO mapping is it's enough?
Actually, if you simply confine, this is what we tried at AICT also. If you simply write CO, you miss out on some activities which are there at the unit level. Okay.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
like a group activity. So in a group activity, if I am giving around the subject, I am preparing their communication skill. I am making them in digital skills when they are presenting with the help of PPT. I'm also making them collaborative work. Now these, when you write only the subject specific course outcome, you'll be missing out on these. And then you will not be able to map these with the POs, और आपके वो हमेशा vacant रहेंगे. That vacant after 3 or 4 POs is the area which is the major concern. So are you able to have something where the students are prepared on lifelong learning, on communication skills? So all these are the things that we have to think, and that will happen when you have the unit level. So try making unit level outcomes and then combine them and you put the COs. So that definitely will be able to help you in the reaching all the POs ticked after the 4 years.
Okay, thank you.
A unit outcome can have more than one chapter. No, unit and chapter are of the same level. Don't go into further breakdown. Then we call it small modules. I'll be talking about in the 4-quadrant e-content format. Fine. Unit or chapter is same. But we decided for a uniformity at AICT that we'll call them as units. Because sometimes chapters are small, unit covers more depth. So we analyze various existing syllabi, and there is so much non-uniformity actually. कोई modules लिखता है अंदर, कोई units लिखता है. So now we have to be coming to the same nomenclature as well. So that is being now taken ahead in all the documents at nature level. We should be aware. Okay, so I think let's close for today. Huh?
Any more questions or doubts? I think it has been a very interesting session, and it has set a pace, and looking forward for the next 8-9 days.
Please let me remind, no recorded sessions will be provided. So watch the videos. चाहे चलते चलते देख रहे हो, but कहीं पे but then be being cautious. So yeah. And please fill up the feedback link forms also. Team ने share किया नहीं किया?
Yeah, it was there. Again, it needs to be shared. So
Yeah.
it will be in the
हाँ, it's
WhatsApp
shared.
group also. I think.
So watch the आज ऐसा करो, आज WhatsApp group में भी कर दो, because some of them could not. So Ankit, share today's both the sessions feedback link in the WhatsApp group also. From tomorrow we will see. And share both the feedback links right now. Session 1 का भी और session 2 का भी.
Okay, ma'am.
So shall we conclude?
Yeah, we can conclude on.
So I'd like to extend the heartfelt vote of thanks to Professor Vimal Rao for her invaluable session on curriculum development, teaching, learning, and assessment. And it has not only enlightened all, I'm sure left an indelible mark on understanding of audience on these critical aspects of education. So Professor Bimal's depth of knowledge and expertise in the field is truly commendable. Through her insightful discourse, she has shed light on intricacies of curriculum design, emphasizing the need for a dynamic and inclusive approach that caters to the diverse needs of our learners. And her emphasis on learner-centric education resonates deeply in the context of our evolving educational landscape. So, moreover, her elucidation on effective teaching methodologies and assessment strategies has provided us with very invaluable insights into nurturing a holistic learning environment. And her emphasis on critical thinking, skill development, problem solving skills, etc., among students underscores the essence of education in the 21st century. So we are deeply grateful to Professor Vimal for her dedication and passion in sharing her expertise with us today. And her guidance will undoubtedly serve as a beacon as everyone navigate the complexities of educational reform in the line with the national education policy. So on behalf of our organizing committee and all the participants, I extend our heartiest gratitude to Professor Vimal for her enlightening session. And thank you once again, Professor Vimal, for your invaluable contribution and setting the pace for the whole program, orientation program.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Professor Anuja, and all my other colleagues in the organizing team, and all my colleagues from different parts of lovely country, India, who have joined in this co-learning journey. We also learn from you when you give good interactions with us and input. So thank you so much. And tomorrow again, we'll be meeting at 5. Till then, don't forget that when you go into your classrooms, you have to take this smile in between and ensure a happy learning environment with your student. So with these words, let us say goodbye to each one. Do enjoy healthy meal with your family and friends, wherever you are, depends upon where you are. And again, we'll be meeting for more interactive and good sessions by more experts tomorrow at 5 p.m. So thank you so much and good night and namaskar. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Everyone.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you all. So we can close now.
Yeah, we can leave. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.